house in Norman, Oklahoma, as the pass-happy Oklahoma Sooners play host to Texas A&M in a pivotal Big 12 South matchup. And Aggies coach R.C. Slocum looks to grab career win number 100. Hello and welcome inside the College Football Saturday studio in Los Angeles. I'm Kevin Frazier. The big news in the Big 12, number 3 Nebraska upset in Austin just moments ago by Texas. We'll touch on that a little bit later this afternoon. As always, I'm joined by my partner, the Hall of Famer Kellen Winslow, and game 1 of our doubleheader featuring Texas A&M and Oklahoma. And Bob Stoops has the fun and gun rolling down at Oklahoma. Kellen.
He certainly does. Remember the days in Oklahoma when they had that crown on that field because of that vaulted wishbone option? They wanted to get the people on the outside. Well, the crown is gone, and so is the artificial turf. They now have grass. That field is flat, so they want to throw that football. Josh Heupel, the junior from Aberdeen, South Dakota, is doing a wonderful job of running that offense. But I tell you, Kevin, they've got to do a better job on third down than they did against Texas a couple of weeks ago. They were only 2 of 12. You won't win any ball games going 2 of 12 on third down conversion.
Great point. Josh Heupel has been fantastic so far this year. Already, he has thrown to 17 different receivers on the season. All right, let's set the stage for our day. A double dose of action on the net this afternoon. We are just moments away from kickoff in Norman. Then at 10:15 Eastern, it's off to the desert for a Pac-10 nightcap. Oregon looks for a little revenge after getting spanked 38-3 last season by Arizona. Kellen and I, as always, are here for the duration. We'll keep you updated with game breaks. Plus, we'll return for the Nissan halftime report. But right now, we say hello to Artie Gigantino and Ron Thulin, who have the call from Norman. And guys, this is a huge game in the Big 12 South.
Absolutely, Kevin Frazier, and this is a great atmosphere for this huge game. A homecoming crowd of 77,000 on hand. Perfect atmosphere, and what R.C. Slocum says, this is a pivotal game, and Bob Stoops of Oklahoma says it's a must-win. All you have to do is look at the South standings and see that.
Well, Ron, I'll tell you, it's a must-win for both teams because with Texas winning today, 4 teams now have 1 loss in this Southern Division. I don't think you can win this division this year with 2 losses in the South, so whoever loses tonight is probably going to get eliminated from the race.
Well, if you like entertaining football, this is the place to be tonight because we have the pass-happy, as Kellen said, Oklahoma Sooners. They are 6th in the nation throwing the football.
And, you know, I always thought the O in Oklahoma stood for option football, but apparently not. What they have done, they went out and recruited a great junior college quarterback in Josh Heupel. Right now, he's one of the leaders in the country in passing offense. He's thrown to 17 different receivers this year, but that's not the best thing. The formations and all the motions and things that they do with this offense will just keep you crazy watching it. So you got to keep your eye on this pass offense. It's very exciting, and it's led by this junior college transfer quarterback.
Well, if Texas A&M wants to make it 5 in a row over the Sooners, they'll have to rely on their wrecking crew defense. They have 12 interceptions already this year. 3 have been run back for touchdowns. Both coaches say this is why you go to A&M, and this is why you go to Oklahoma. It is a big football game. Texas A&M, they have their game faces on. Oklahoma is ready to play. Kickoff with the Sooners and the Aggies next. As the Sooners take the field, Texas A&M knows in order to beat Oklahoma, they'll have to establish a ground game. But Eric Clemens, the 3rd member of our team, they're playing 1 player short tonight.
They certainly are. Dante Hall didn't even make the trip. He has a sprained ankle, but it's amazing. Eric Renard is even here. The Tulsa native in 97 tore his right ACL, 98 tore his left ACL, and it's amazing he's expected to pick up the slack tonight for Coach R.C. Slocum. We'll keep track of his progress throughout the game, but right now, guys, they're ready to kick it.
R.C. Slocum knows just how important this game is tonight, and he was noticeably concerned last night as we talked with Coach Slocum because he knows that this is a very powerful team as they kick off to Oklahoma, the number 4 NCAA kick return team in the country. This is Jarrell Jackson, right side, plenty of room to the 50, to the 40-yard line for Jarrell Jackson. That is his career long in returns, and 52 yards for the Oklahoma Sooners, and they start out with a bang.
And you know what? Brandon Daniels is the guy that they were concerned with. They didn't kick it to him, so they give it to Jackson. And Jackson literally goes untouched up the right sideline. What a way for Oklahoma to start this game.
Well, we talked to R.C. Slocum about OU's kickoff possibilities and their ability to return kicks, and he said, we've been practicing on it. We are concerned, and that is why. Michael Thornton in the backfield. Josh Heupel, expect to see him in the shotgun a lot tonight. He is over center, 3-step drop in the south bluff, throws it out in the right flat to Trent Smith for a Dr. Pepper game break. Let's send it to Kevin Frazier.
We told you about it. Now let's let you check it out for yourself. Fourth quarter, 2017, Nebraska leading Texas. Major Applewhite swings it out to Mike Jones. 17 yards later, he's in the promised land. Longhorns win 24-20. Huge upset.
Oh, that was Kevin Frazier. Major Applewhite had a great second half in that football game.
And it was the third time in a row now that Texas has beaten Nebraska.
Second down and 2 for the Sooners. They try the right side. They get the first down with Michael Thornton, the 5'5 senior out of Dallas, Texas. And there is the Oklahoma quarterback, Josh Heupel, the junior. He's a transfer from Snow Junior College in Utah. This is an air attack that averages 336 yards a game. This young man, very confident and very poised, and that is why that their offense can roll up more than 400 yards a game.
He is clearly the engineer of this offense. You're going to see him call 75% of the plays at the line of scrimmage in an audible.
A little play action pass. He's being hit. Throws in the right side. It is incomplete. Ron Edwards on the coverage. And the Oklahoma offense on the line. Stalker McDougal at right tackle. He's going to have to protect Heupel from that wrecking crew rush. And a wide receiver, we've already seen him with a kickoff return. Senior Jarrell Jackson leads the receiving corps, 5 of which played previous or different positions prior to this season. 8 first-year players have caught passes for Oklahoma. Heupel at 6'2", 208 pounds, and as Kellen Winslow mentioned, out of Aberdeen, South Dakota, coach's son. Thornton left side of the wrecking crew defense is there to drop him for a loss of 4. Roy Lynn Bradley coming from that linebacker spot to make the stop as we take a look at Texas A&M's defense, number 8 in the country. Rocky Bernard, the junior out of Baytown, Texas, leads the defensive line in sacks. At linebacker, Cornelius Anthony. He's the cornerstone of the defense. And in the secondary, they are experienced. 105 games starting, led by Michael Jamison at strong safety. 2 interceptions for a touchdown already this year.
One of the few times this year now, Oklahoma's lined up with 2 backs in the backfield.
And we have penalty flags thrown. Heupel going in the corner of the end zone, and it'll be incomplete. Intended for Damian Mackey, the redshirt freshman out of Union City, California. We'll have to see what the flag is. Heupel has been able to draw teams off sides, and already a couple of times this year, after drawing them off sides, he's thrown touchdown passes.
And you know what happened that time is this year they have not been underneath the center very much with the quarterback. And the coaches were telling us last night that they were concerned about that because 80% of the time Oklahoma has lined up in a shotgun. And you're going to see a little bit of movement there by a couple of those defenders. Roland Bradley, number 40, jumps off sides first. He's got to look at the football when you're playing against this offense, not listen to sound.
Now from the shotgun on 3rd and 7. Heupel over the middle, pass is incomplete. Intended for Michael Thornton, who stands just 5'5", but weighs 187 pounds, and Oklahoma will be faced with a 4th down, and they will be kicking the field goal.
Oklahoma has made a living this year of starting fast in the first quarter, and it's set up by the great kickoff return team.
Fletcher the holder. Duncan will attempt the kick. It's spotted at the 29-yard line.
Now we have to remember tonight, Ron, that Fletcher's an ex-quarterback, and he'll fake it as he does here.
Fletcher rolling out to the right, looking for the yardage stick. Dives forward, and he gets it.
Bobby Stoops told us the other day he was going to let it all hang out today, especially in the kicking game.
Patrick Fletcher, the junior out of right here in Norman, Oklahoma, with the fake. And they get the first down.
He's a quarterback. He's athletic. Why not? He takes off, gets around the right side of the offense, and dives for the first down. That's a good call because what it does, it keeps the momentum of the drive going. You're going to see Fletcher. It's a good fake. He gets up, and A&M right up top here is completely fooled. And you know, that is surprising because a couple of weeks ago, Fletcher threw a touchdown pass to the kicker, Tim Duncan, on a fake.
Fletcher did a great job just ducking because Bob Stoops saw the wrecking crew defense closing quickly on him. And we have an injured player down for Texas A&M. That is number 91, Bo Schmidt, out of Carrollton, Texas, a reserve tight end. And he is going to be led off the field, favoring obviously that right leg. But a big first down for the Oklahoma Sooners, courtesy of that young man. Oklahoma wanted to run an offense when Bob Stoops took over that not many people do here in the Big 12. In fact, nobody.
Well, they're doing it because this is an offense that no one else runs.
Heupel, pass is complete. Jarrell Jackson out of Houston, Texas. Yates High School product. And the Sooners are knocking on the Aggies' door. A pickup of 9 on the play.
Jarrell Jackson that time ran a curl pattern to the inside. The ex-basketball player out of Houston, as you said, Ron, has bounced around in this program, but he has found a home at the wide receiver position and a kick return position.
2nd down and 2 for the Sooners. 3 wide receivers to the left. Heupel, quick pass. Brandon Daniels fighting his way for the first down, and the Oklahoma Sooners will have 1st and goal to go. Daniels, the former quarterback, has played just about every position on the field in his career here at Oklahoma, but he's finally found a home.
Well, he's been a quarterback, and he started as a sophomore at safety, but he's the inside man to the right of your screen. Heupel just throws the ball out on a quick screen, and Daniels cuts back against the grain up inside. That is almost a running play, but you get it started by throwing the ball.
And you can see the red zone success of the Oklahoma Sooners. Touchdown, Oklahoma! The Sooners strike first thanks to the fake field goal, and Heupel takes it in himself.
It's almost like the Texas A&M defense is a little bit on their heels. This explosive offense comes at you from a lot of different areas, and it's hard to defend, especially early in the game when you're not used to the speed.
Tim Duncan, a perfect 25 for 25 in point afters, and he is good tonight. Heupel following the block of number 60, Matt O'Neal, and the Sooners strike first. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by Texas Instruments, the world leader in DSP and analog, setting the digital world in motion. And by the people inspired to build vehicles for your mind and heart. Nissan, driven. And that's the statue of George Lincross. He was the 16th president of the University of Oklahoma, who passed away this past spring. And inside Owen Field, the Sooner faithful, sellout crowd of 77,000, like the beginning of the game so far. Oklahoma leading 7-0. Kickoff bounding around, picked up by Bethel Johnson. A little bit of running room up to the 25-yard line. For a Dr. Pepper game break, we send it to our College Football Saturday studios with Kevin Frazier.
Guys, 4th quarter, 31-25. Penn State leading Purdue. One last chance for Drew Brees and crew on 4th down. Brees throws it out of the end zone. There goes his chances to win the game. And now I wonder, Artie, is he done in the Heisman race also?
Kevin, there is no question in my mind Drew Brees is right in the middle of the Heisman race. In fact, each weekend, he gets a little bit higher on the ladder.
They give it to Jamar Toombs, try on the left side, and the Oklahoma defense swarms them after a pickup of about 3 on the play. 11:23 to play. We're at Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. Along with Eric Clemens and Artie Chigantino, I'm Ron Thulin. It is a perfect evening for football in Norman. Temperature in the 50s, clear skies, and the Sooners leading the Aggies by 7 after the fake field goal on their first possession. Texas A&M swings it out to Bethel Johnson, who fights his way up to about the 29-yard line, maybe picked up 1 on the play, and this is the play that set up the Sooner score.
You're going to see Fletcher, the quarterback, put the ball down, does a great job of acting, as does the kicker Duncan, and he runs around the right side of the fooled A&M defense. Huge play, not only from a psychological standpoint, Ron, but from a team momentum and keeping this crowd just fired up here.
3rd down and 5 for the Aggies. Ball on the 30-yard line, and McCown will go from the shotgun. 3 wide receivers to the left. Very little rush. Now McCown flushed out of the pocket, and he is going to be dragged down from behind by Ramon Richardson, the junior out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, with his 3rd sack of the year.
Matt Bumgarner, number 81, was wide open over the middle here, but he could not get the ball to him. He was looking down the field, looking to throw the ball deeper, and old Matt saying, hey, throw me the ball. That is a covered sack that time by the OU defense.
And this is a big, big injury for the Oklahoma Sooners. Ante Jones, who got the starting nod at strong safety. He was injured earlier this year, got in the coach's doghouse for a while, finally gets a start, the junior out of Homestead, Florida, and he is down on the turf.
And you know, last year he was 2nd in the Big 12 in tackles behind Dat Nguyen from Texas A&M. So he is a valuable football player when he's playing and when the coaches are happy with him. But Bob Stoops has brought some discipline to this Oklahoma program now, and you're going to do it his way or you're not going to play.
And he set down the law right away when he took over here at the University of Oklahoma. Number 30, Matt Mayhew, the sophomore out of Midwest City, Oklahoma. Great football heritage at Midwest City, just outside of Oklahoma City. He is checking into that Oklahoma defense. One thing with Oklahoma's defense, and Mike Stoops and Brent Venables talked to us yesterday about it, they aren't very deep. He says, we've got to rely on our top 11 guys. We don't go very deep.
Right, they've got a bunch of young players as we look at Mike Stoops right here, who is the associate head coach and co-defensive coordinator. And his brother, obviously, Bobby Stoops, is the head football coach. But he knows to lose a guy like Ante Jones is going to hurt him. And look for A&M now, when they get the ball again, Ron, to challenge down the field more. Because that's something they want to do in this game, and that's something they got to do in this game to stay in it and make some big plays against the Oklahoma defense.
Well, that Oklahoma defense has struggled. They've forced only 1 turnover the last 2 games. They're currently 97th in turnover margin as we look at the best punter in NCAA, Shane Leckler of Texas A&M.
He will be the closest thing in the last 5 or 6 years to a first-round draft choice in the kicking area. I would take him in the first round if I were somebody.
Leckler gets out a boomer. During the Texas Tech game, he averaged better than 50 yards a kick. This one will have no return. A 43-yard attempt, but 0 on the return. And Bob Stoops and the Oklahoma Sooners will take over on their own 29-yard line, leading 7-0. With the Texas Longhorns upsetting Nebraska, this is a must-win situation for the number 13 Aggies of Texas A&M, and right now they trail Oklahoma 7-0 in the first quarter, thanks to Josh Heupel and company.
Okay, now here is a strange formation. This guy out here and that guy up there are offensive tackles. Now watch what Heupel does with the football. He's going to throw it outside. Now he shuffle passes inside.
The spin move by Thornton. He keeps his feet as he crosses the 40-yard line. They've run it 4 times versus Texas with marginal success. That was successful. Eric Clemens, you have some injury updates for us.
Yeah, a couple of injury updates for you. Ron Boschmidt, the guy who was injured on that fake field goal by Oklahoma, sprained his right knee. They're icing it down right now. He might actually be able to return. And backup strong safety Jeremy Weisinger had a stinger during pregame warm-ups. He will not play tonight.
Weisinger, the former Colorado Reserve quarterback. Heupel swings it out, right side. Plenty of running room for Curtis Fagan. Another Oklahoma first down. And that is a classic case of what Oklahoma does so well, run after catch. Almost 900 yards this year.
Weird formation, the same one I talked about before. Now this guy standing right in that big old guy is Stocker McDougal, 6'6", 263 pounds. The ball gets thrown out. Watch old Stocker right here block, and it just springs the ball up the field. That is a wacky formation, but it's hurting A&M right now.
Another shuttle pass and another good game from Michael Thornton. Brian Gamble, the redshirt freshman out of Alto, Texas, on the stop.
Ron, they ran it 4 times, Oklahoma did, against the University of Texas 2 weeks ago. And they only had like 12 yards on the play. But right now, Bobby Stoops' offense has got A&M on the heels. As again, we see this formation. It's the 4th time in a row now we've seen this abnormal formation.
2nd and 2, the pump fake, and they run the shuttle pass again to Thornton. And again he gets big yardage. You know, we were kidding Mike Leach, offensive coordinator, the other night about running fakes and stuff. He goes, you know, I may run it 4 or 5 times, and we thought he was kidding.
Well, what it is, this ends up being 2 guards in the center in here, watch, and they're going to hand the ball off up in there or shuffle pass it up in there. A&M is spread out so much, there is not enough defenders to stop the run. Look, they don't have enough defenders in there to stop the run.
This time, Thornton's going to be bottled up as he gets down to the 10-yard line, maybe a pickup of 3 on the play. Thornton out of Dallas, Texas. He is a senior out of Carter High School. Honorable mention, Big 12 last year in kickoff returns. Has had only 15 carries the last 2 games, and you can see how OU has done in the first quarter this season.
And one of the reasons they are so productive in the first quarter is the fact that teams cannot get used to, at least in the first quarter, the speed at which they execute this offense. Because it's very hard to practice during the week and get the exact same look you're going to get in the game.
2nd and 7. Heupel in the flat. Passes complete to Daniels. And the A&M defense closing quickly. Michael Jamison, number 1, the junior out of Killeen, Texas, there to make the stop. There is Mike Hankwitz, the defensive coordinator, who likes being on the sideline so he can see his players' eyes.
And Mike Hankwitz said, you know, all year long, and R.C. Slocum told us the same thing, we have not seen an offense like this that gives you the variety and the multiplicity that this Oklahoma offense does.
From the left hash mark, 3 wide receivers to the left, 1 to the right. 3rd and 4, Heupel changing the play.
He's calling out to his offensive players. You see everybody adjust their formation.
Here comes A&M, throws it into the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma! Curtis Fagan with his first career touchdown as an Oklahoma Sooner. R.C. Slocum looking for win number 100, but he trails 13-0. Duncan with the extra point, and with 6:51 to play in the first, the Oklahoma Sooners have shocked the Aggies of Texas A&M. The Oklahoma Sooners have not had a winning season since 1993. They last won a league title in '87, and Bob Stoops' squad goes 71 yards and 255 thanks to this man's touchdown catch. And they have a 14-0 lead as they look for their 4th win of the year. A little pooch kick by the Sooners. Right at the 30-yard line, no return. Let's take a look at that touchdown once again. Josh Heupel with the TD pass.
Okay, you're going to see Heupel here, and you're going to see Fagan, who's in the slot to the right of your screen. He runs a flag route right at the flag at the end of the end zone, reaches up, catches the ball over the outstretched arms of Cedric Curry. Now, there was a little confusion on the A&M secondary part, but Fagan got behind Curry on the touchdown.
That is the 13th Sooner to catch a touchdown pass this season. We talked about Heupel spreading the ball around, and he does it also on scoring drives. But the Aggies 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line, and Randy McCown will go from the shotgun. Bethel Johnson in motion. Looking for Johnson. Going deep down the sideline. Complete to Johnson. They'll mark it at the 31-yard line of the Oklahoma Sooners, a pickup of 38 on the play. And Randy McCown, the senior out of Jacksonville, Texas, is at the helm for the Aggies of Texas A&M.
That last play is a little bit of air Slocum, trying to air the ball out, throw it deep.
Threw for 362 yards last week versus Kansas. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage is Eric Bernard, the senior out of Tulsa Union High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the rest of the A&M offense on the line. Andy Vincent at right tackle, sat out last week with a concussion. He is back. And at running back, keep an eye on Jamar Toombs. He averages over 4.5 yards a carry. He will play both fullback and tailback position. He is big, he is strong, and he can run the football. 2nd down and 13 for the Aggies. Ball on the 34-yard line. And McCown changing the play. Sooners with 5 on the line of scrimmage. McCown in the flat, complete up to the 23-yard line to Chris Cole, the senior out of Orange, Texas. As we take a look at the defense of the Oklahoma Sooners, they call it the stun and done defense. Need to make the big plays, and it begins with the line and defensive end Cornelius Burton, who must put pressure on Randy McCown. Linebacker spot. Rocky Kalmas anchors the linebackers. He has been the most consistent. And Rodney Rideau at free safety leads the secondary that has 7 interceptions this season. 3rd down and 2 for the Aggies. The second effort by Jamar Toombs. The Sooners like the results.
And Ron, I can't see perfectly from up here, but it does not look like they made it. And R.C. Slocum is going to elect to go for a field goal here. And that's a smart move by R.C. Slocum. You're going to see the interior line here, led by 94 Ryan Fisher, the nose guard, stack things up, which allows the secondary, led by Rodney Rideau, to get over the top and make the play. Oklahoma that time played an 8-man front, and you saw the safety make the hit, just like you draw it up on the chalkboard.
Leckler will hold it at the 29. Kitchens field goal, the 5th block. The 5th field goal attempt by Kitchens that has been blocked this year. William Barty, the senior out of Daytona Beach, Florida, came up with the block.
The ball looks like it doesn't get enough trajectory right there. It goes right there, and it allows Barty to get up and knock it down. Barty has a 37-inch vertical jump, which is why people think he is going to be one of the first defensive backs taken in the draft this coming year. 37, Ron, is really getting up there.
That's some hops, and look how far off the line of scrimmage he was when he blocked it. But Kitchens has had problems with low trajectory, and he did there. This time, the Wrecking Crew defense is there to drop the Sooners for a 3-yard loss. Reggie Skinner on the carry. And that Oklahoma defense bent, but they did not break with 4:42 left to play in the first.
But that's also part of playing good defense. When they try to kick the field goal, knocking the thing down. There's an inspired group right now playing defense for Oklahoma tonight.
RC has challenged his defense to step up. Heupel sees the rush, throws it away as he takes the hit. And Brian Gamble's the one who put the pressure on. Well, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, it's the NFL This Morning. Host Chris Myers is joined by 7-time All-Pro Jackie Slater, 2-time Coach of the Year Marv Levy, and 4-time All-Pro Chris Spielman. This week's guest is Denver Broncos head coach Mike Shanahan, only the 5th coach in NFL history to lead his team to back-to-back Super Bowl wins. That's the NFL This Morning tomorrow at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific on Fox Sports Net. 3rd and 13 for the Oklahoma Sooners. They only convert on 38% of 3rd downs. Heupel, a little look in. Pass is complete up to the 32-yard line. Antoine Savage, the true freshman out of Albany, Georgia. He will be short of the 1st down.
They like that play where the wide receivers, especially guys like Savage and Daniels, come inside and get the inside screen.
We welcome you to the Big 12 Showdown at Oklahoma's Memorial Stadium, Owen Field, with the number 13 Aggies of Texas A&M and the Sooners of Oklahoma. And Oklahoma leads 14-0 along with Artie Gigantino and Eric Clemens. I'm Ron Thulin. We're glad you're with us. Another fake, straight up the middle, Luttrell. Look out, to the 30, to the 28-yard line. Seth Luttrell.
I love razzle-dazzle in the kicking game, and we're seeing Luttrell is right here, number 35. He's going to get the snap and go up inside. But watch the acting job right there by the punter, and no one touches Luttrell. That happened in a hurry. It's like a fullback belly that nobody touches the fullback running up the field. And Bobby Stoops has got to say, wow.
His cupboard is going to be empty after this game. He's emptying it. 41 yards on the fake. Luttrell, the son of former Sooner fullback Jim Luttrell. First and 10. Heupel throws it out on the flat. The pass is incomplete, intended for Seth. We'll give you that one, big guy.
You know, Ron, one of the things that Texas A&M has got to do tonight is be patient. Guys like Luttrell are going to make some plays, but A&M has got to get into the rhythm, and they'll find their game once they settle down. Now, the trick is to make sure Oklahoma's not ahead 28-0 by the time they settle down. R.C. Slocum is a patient man. His team has got to be patient tonight, and the game will come to them.
We saw patience with Kansas State dropping 21-0 to Oklahoma State to come back to the win. Heupel, again, pass is complete. Down to the 18-yard line to Jarrell Jackson. Already with a great kickoff return, now with that reception.
One thing when you look at Oklahoma, they've got many, many weapons, and Josh Heupel gets the ball to those weapons. 11 completions out of 15 attempts for 110 yards, and not many mistakes so far, not only in the execution, but his ability to audible at the line of scrimmage, which is why they like shotgun. It gives him a chance to audible, and he can see the entire defense.
We had a chance to spend some time with Heupel yesterday, and there was very little doubt that Bob Stoops knew this kid was going to be a good quarterback because he loves to watch film. In fact, when he came here on his recruiting visit, he watched tape for 3.5 hours with Mike Leach, the offensive coordinator.
Well, he wanted to be in the right system for him, and I think that's the right way to make a decision for a young man coming out of high school or junior college.
Oklahoma with 9 first downs, and they've rushed for 55 yards. Heupel, straight drop, throws it over down in the corner of the end zone, tipped incomplete. Intended for Brandon Daniels.
You know why that was a smart throw, though, Ron? Because even if Daniels could not catch it, the ball would have been thrown out of bounds. That was a safe throw and the right spot to put it. As you see Daniels go up and almost come down with it, but that is an outstanding play by number 22, Sammy Davis from Texas A&M, the young freshman who they think is going to be a superstar here someday. And you look at this formation, this is called the spread formation with 2 wide receivers to each side.
From the gun, Heupel just lets it out into the flat, complete. Running room. Down to the 5-yard line, Michael Thornton. Brandon Jennings finally bringing him down, and Thornton's having a big game. And Artie, what we saw there is Heupel from the shotgun, but then he takes 3 or 4 step drop after that.
Well, he gets back deep, but you see the ball thrown out to Thornton. Thornton's like a little spark plug. He's only 66 inches tall. He's 5'5½". He's hard to bring down in the open field, but he is a running threat, and he is a pass-catching threat. And he's dangerous, obviously, in the open field.
Oklahoma with more than 3 times as many yards as the Aggies. First down and goal, ball is on the 7. Inside of 2 minutes in the first quarter. Heupel, plenty of time, over the middle, pass is complete to Jackson. Down to the 2-yard line. Now we saw Ante Jones of the Sooners go down earlier this evening. Eric Clemens, how about an update?
Well, Ron, I saw a very upset Ante Jones as the cart came out to the field to take him off the sideline, so the news apparently not good. The official word is he has a right knee injury and won't play in the game. Unofficially, it looks very serious because Jones left this field in tears. Ron?
That really hurts the Sooner defensive secondary. Second down and goal, ball is on the 2. A&M bringing a bunch of people. Heupel keeps it. Rolling, looking, and does a nice job just grounding the football intended for Luttrell. Brandon Jennings is the one who really put the pressure on from that free safety spot.
And a bootleg type pass, and it's something that Oklahoma does not do a lot. But as you said so accurately, it was an intelligent play by Heupel of throwing the ball away because he had nowhere to go. Wow, what a nice night here in Norman, Oklahoma for 2 good college football teams in a great matchup here in a beautiful setting.
Sooner fans have waited a long time to play a big game against a big-time opponent. They have their opportunity now. Luttrell and Thornton in the backfield. 2-back set. Aggies showing 6 on the line. Again, Heupel, 2 to snap it. Gets it off, keeps it. The southpaw rolling. Gonna have to do something. Throws it into the corner of the end zone, and it is incomplete. Antoine Savage thought he had it. Heupel thought he had it.
The reason that they're running bootlegs down in this area, there's not enough room in which to operate to execute this spread passing game with the end zone being only 10 yards deep. And you're going to see Heupel get outside, put the ball perfectly on the money, and boy, that's close. That's awful close.
You have to have 1 foot in bounds when you get possession of it. The fans just saw the replay on the Jumbotron. They don't like it. And Tim Duncan, already with 1 fake field goal, will try another. He's 4 of 4 on the year. The chip shot is good, and we have a penalty flag thrown. Now the fans continue their booing. Duncan 5 of 5 on the year. See what the penalty is. Disregard the flag. The kick is good. And the Oklahoma Sooners on the board again, and Bob Stoops pulling all the tricks out of the back. Trick-or-treating isn't for another week. He's got the tricks, and he's treating the fans to plays like this. Well, Oklahoma kicking off, and Eric Bernard on the return gets up to the 24-yard line with 51 seconds left to play in the first quarter, and Randy McCown and the A&M offense has got to get something going.
You know, we take a look at R.C. Slocum, and he has been a little frustrated in his inability, his team's inability to establish a consistent running game this year. They've had 8 pass completions for 40 yards or more, so they're completing the bombs, but they're not completing the ball being run up inside and not establishing a consistent game.
McCown on a 1-man pattern, and it is complete. Only 1 wide receiver went out, and that was Chris Taylor, the junior out of Madisonville, Texas. And he completes the pass. They're going to mark it at the 34-yard line.
You know, Taylor's been averaging 21 yards per reception this year. And just like you said, Ron, a lot of the offense from Texas A&M is 1- and 2-man patterns. And that time it was a maximum protection, a throw-out pass on an out pattern to Chris Taylor.
Talk about explosive receivers. 3 receivers for Texas A&M average better than 20 yards a catch.
And all good-looking, athletic body types, guys that can leap up and catch the football.
First and 10 for the Aggies, and they keep it on the ground, straight ahead. Maybe a pickup of 2 on the play. Jamar Toombs, the sophomore out of Kilgore, Texas. He is the only freshman from last year's class that didn't redshirt in 1998. They say he's down to 257 pounds already.
I don't believe that.
I don't believe that either.
They list him at about 265. He looks like more like 270 to me. But he's big, he's athletic, and this offense right now misses Dante Hall because he's an explosive runner.
On 2nd and 8, play action, McCown. Pass over the middle, pass is incomplete. Intended for Leroy Hodge, the senior out of Rosenberg, Texas. College football Saturday next week. We send you to the Pac-10. Oregon versus, or that's tonight, I mean, Oregon versus Arizona. Steve Physiak, Tom Ramsey, and James Lofton on hand for that ball game. That'll be coming up immediately following this Big 12 showdown. Joining Steve, Tom, and James from Oregon versus Arizona. Reveille got a great bark, not much bite so far. 3rd down and 8 for the Aggies. Seth McKinney turning around and talking to his quarterback. A little bit of a rush. McCown keeps it up to the 44-yard line, and they will mark it. It looks as though about a yard short. Ramon Richardson already with a sack on the stop, and that's the way the first quarter will come to an end. It was a big one for the Oklahoma Sooners. A fake punt, a fake field goal, and 17 points. Oklahoma leading A&M as we head to quarter number 2, 17-0. And it has been a game of special teams for the Oklahoma Sooners.
And the timing of the calls have been just perfect as we see Fletcher get outside and get the first down to continue the first drive of the game. Barty gets up and just slaps the ball out of the stands, out of the air, and Luttrell gets the ball on a fake and runs right up the middle of that A&M punt return team. Perfect timing by Bobby Stoops and his staff on the calls, especially of the 2 fakes.
Well, Jarrell Jackson is back to receive Shane Leckler's kick. He is just 7 yards away from 1,000 yards in his career as a punt returner, which will be the best in Sooner history. He's not going to get it on this kick. Rolls out of bounds at the 16-yard line for Leckler. Had a 43-yard effort on his first one, 39, and Shane's having, for him at least, not a very good night.
And the ball died a little bit in the air, and R.C. Slocum loves his punter because he knows he can depend on him, and he's confident to put him in the game in any punting situation and say, hey, we'll come out okay, which is why they lead the nation, A&M does, in net punting.
Shane Leckler's standards are higher than anybody else's. Oh, and Bob Stoops took over. He said, this is not a rebuilding year. We are going to win right now.
And that's what you have to do, I think, when you take over a program, because you owe it to the players in the program.
Reggie Skinner, the lone setback. Heupel has it swatted away. Pass is incomplete. Jay Brooks is the one who got it from the cornerback spot, the sophomore out of Killeen, Texas.
Brooks gets up in the air and times it perfectly as he knocks the ball down. He's only 5'9", but he's an outstanding athlete, gets up and swats it away. Heupel had better be careful because the next time Brooks will intercept that one and run it in.
Even Josh will admit he doesn't have the strongest arm. And he knows he has to be careful. Sooners will keep it on the ground, right side, a little bit of running room as they cross the 20 up to the 21-yard line. Pick up a 4 on the play for Reggie Skinner, the senior out of Claremore, Oklahoma. Only 8 rushing attempts coming into tonight.
You know, coming into this game, Oklahoma had only run the football 112 times this year, which is last in the Big 12 in rushing attempts. They'd averaged 4.2 yards per rush, but they'd only attempted 112 times.
Well, their per rush attempt, their average as far as that is 3rd in the Big 12, but still they're not running the ball like they used to. 3rd down and 5 from the shotgun. Heupel has some time over the middle. Antoine Savage, the true freshman. He is probably the best receiver with a great future here at Oklahoma. Pickup of 15.
You talk about perfect timing. They are in sync in this passing game as you see number 6, Savage, run a skinny post, and Heupel put the ball right on the money. That is just throw and catch, just like you do in practice.
Oh, yeah. 6 receptions for 100 yards versus Texas a couple of weeks ago. Oklahoma did not play last week. They had a bye week, which came at a great time. Look for the little trickery. There it is. A little flea flicker. Savage knocked out of bounds, but not before he crosses the 45 down to the 41-yard line. A pickup of 13.
You know, it's unbelievable how much trickery they're doing tonight, but the way they're executing it. Now watch what happens. Jackson just flips the ball back to good old Savage. That's something you would do in the playground. When you were a young kid, just flip the ball back to somebody. Perfect timing and perfect execution by this Oklahoma offense. Wow.
Another first down. Texas A&M showing blitz, and here they come. Heupel gets it away quickly to the 40, up to the 45-yard line. Lunging ahead is Jarrell Jackson. You hit it on the head, Artie. The A&M defense back on their heels. They're not playing with that reckless abandon that we have seen from them in the last couple of years.
It's because the offense puts a shadow of a doubt in your mind. You don't know where they're going to go. You don't know where they're going to come from. You don't know where they're going to line up. It's tough, and Mike Hankiewicz knows this. It's tough to defend not only all the formations, but also all the pass patterns. And you can't blitz all the time because a smart guy like Heupel will pick you apart.
Plenty of time to snap it. Heupel again. Takes a couple of steps, dumps it off. To Josh Norman, right side. Pickup of 13 for Fagan on the play. Well, tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific, it's the final round coverage of the Nike Tour Championship. The top money leaders on the Nike Tour put it all on the line for a piece of the $400,000 purse and a chance to earn that all-elusive PGA Tour card. Past Nike Tour grads, of course, David Duval, Ernie Els, John Daly. Final round coverage tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on Fox Sports Net. 1st and 10 for the Sooners. Heupel dumping it off in the flat. The pads are popping inside the 20. Michael Thornton getting a couple of licks.
And Harold Robertson, number 41, just leveled Thornton in the open field. The impressive thing about this A&M defense, though, is they continue to play hard. As we take a look at Harold Robertson, the sophomore out of Dallas, 6'2", 230 pounds. And when he hits you in the open field, running full speed, you're going to feel it.
One thing Oklahoma was concerned about is not keeping momentum. They haven't had the problem so far in a quarter plus 3 minutes. They keep it on the ground. Thornton scattering around, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he is going to be dropped at the 16-yard line by Jason Webster, the senior out of Houston, Texas.
Oklahoma is really trying to run the football tonight. When they played Texas and when they played Notre Dame, it seemed like they threw the ball every play, especially in the first half. But tonight, they're making a conscious effort to run the football and establish a running game. And there's big Mark Mangio, who's the offensive line coach and the run game coordinator, who really wants to run the ball about 25 times today.
Texas A&M doesn't like what they see, and they're going to burn a timeout. 11:30 to play in the first quarter. Bob Stoops' squad has provided a lot of fireworks. They've also provided his team with 17 points. Well, the Sooners coming off the first 5-year period without a winning record in school history. But they have been impressive this year, losing only to Notre Dame. They had a lead, losing to Texas, in which they had a lead. And tonight, they have the lead over the Aggies of Texas A&M with 11.5 to play in the first half. 3rd down and 4. Ball is on the 16-yard line. Heupel checking with Matt O'Neill, his center. 5 to snap. The quick look in, complete, down to the 4-yard line, Brandon Daniels.
Josh Heupel is like having a coach play quarterback and just call the plays at the line of scrimmage. Boy, is he smart, and he gets his offense in the right play against the defense that he reads. That time, A&M vacated the middle. He calls a slant into Daniels. Bingo, down to the 4-yard line. That is all the decision-making process, Ron, by the quarterback.
The man who said he never dreamed of coming to Oklahoma is now leading him to a 17-0 lead, looking for more. Thornton, straight ahead, pulling his way down to about the 2.5-yard line.
Now, if you're Oklahoma, you want to be intelligent here. As you call plays, you want to use up a little bit of the clock, obviously, number one. But number two, you want to get the touchdown, and you've got 4 downs to do it. And the way Bobby Stoops has been a riverboat gambler tonight, you better believe that they'll go for it if it's close to getting a touchdown. There's the offensive coordinator, Mike Leach, who's done such a great job.
Straight ahead, looking for a signal. We don't get it.
You know, Mike Leach is an interesting story. He came from the University of Kentucky, where he coached Tim Couch, who obviously won the Heisman Trophy. But he was the first guy, one of the first guys that Bobby Stoops hired. He's the quarterback coach, and he's the engineer of this spread offense.
And he has his law degree. Said he'd rather coach. You can see the 79-yard, 11-play drive started on their own 17. Heupel tries to sneak in the left side. Still no sign from the officials. Well, they're saying he was stopped again, and that'll bring up a 4th down. And it will be very, very close.
And Bobby Stoops and Mike Leach are doing exactly what I talked about. They're being conservative here, and now they're going to go for it. They're going to send in an extra tight end. They're going to send in an extra back and get their big offense in there, as they call it. As we look at Mike Leach again, and he's got a great feel for what to do with this offense.
Number 81, Chris Hammonds has checked into the game at tight end. Heupel barreling his way forward. Touchdown, Oklahoma! Second touchdown running the football for Heupel this evening.
The ball has just got across the plane of the goal line. It didn't look like Heupel's body was in the end zone, but the ball was. And he deserves to score because of all the great audibles that he has made tonight in getting the ball down the field. He should get the touchdown.
Duncan sneaks in the extra point. And Josh Heupel, 2 touchdowns running the football tonight, following behind the left side of that offensive line, and Oklahoma leads 24-0.
In Texas, there are places without fences, without limits, without boundaries. To get to them, you'll need an outfitter. Your
College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by the all-new 2000 LeSabre by Buick, re-engineered to be safer than ever. That's Evans Hall on the OU campus, the second oldest building on the campus, in the former OU Fieldhouse, where we used to play basketball here for the Sooners. And inside, Oklahoma with over 250 yards offense, A&M with only 72. A high kick, and it will be Chris Taylor from the 10. Straight ahead, knocked down to the 24-yard line. Let's check in with the Dr. Pepper game break. Wait a minute, we may have a fumble. Yes, Oklahoma has it. Late signal by the officials, but Taylor coughed it up, and OU has it.
The special teams from Oklahoma are dominating this football game. And R.C. Slocum has had great special teams during the course of his tenure at A&M. Seth Luttrell ends up with the football. Boy, and he's a happy guy. We see the ball jarred loose. Luttrell, he not only makes the tackle, but he takes the ball away from Taylor as he gets up the field. You got to hold on to the football because you're going to get hit, and you're going to get hit hard when you return the ball.
Heupel looking for Pater right off the bat. Has to scramble. Pass is tipped, and it's going to be caught at the 25-yard line. That is the original line of scrimmage. Now for a Dr. Pepper game break. Let's send it to Kevin Frazier at our College Football Saturday studios.
Guys, more wild games with Nebraska losing the Big 12 North leaders, Kansas State. They were down 21-0 to Oklahoma State, score 44 unanswered points to win big today. Let's go back to Norman.
And we got a wild one here about an hour and a half south of Stillwater. Jarrell Jackson wide to the left. They keep it on the ground with Reggie Skinner. Breaks one tackle. Down to the 13-yard line, and another first down for the Sooners. Their 15th first down of the first half.
Stocker McDougal right here. He gets 2 blocks. He blocks down, but then he comes off and he holds a linebacker. But you know what? Nobody calls it. And that's what ends up freeing Skinner up the field. A great job by the potential first-round draft choice at a Navarro Junior College. Stocker McDougal.
6'6", 363 pounds. Sooners first and 10 from the 13. They keep it on the ground again with Skinner.
And you know what? They run it right behind McDougal again, and so would I, because he's huge and he can move mountains and men. He does it all. Look at him.
See the time of possession, +8, almost +9. Now, Oklahoma, the last 2 games, have been -10 on time of possession. Not tonight.
Well, you know, just because they don't run the football very much, I'm talking about Oklahoma, doesn't mean they can't dominate the time of possession, because what they do, they throw and catch, and they keep the ball in bounds.
Well, when Leach was offensive coordinator in Kentucky, they led the SEC in time of possession. Heupel seeing a rush, throwing deep, looking in the end zone, pass is incomplete, intended for Brandon Daniels.
That might have been Heupel's worst pass of the evening. And I don't know if he just felt he was covered and he threw it away, or it just got out of his hands. Got away from him.
.7:34 to play. Leach, Cale Gundy, former OU quarterback, to your right of your screen. 3rd down and 6. Ball is on the 10. Savage was in motion. Heupel, plenty of time, rifles the pass, but it is going to be knocked down by Jason Glenn, the junior out of Houston, Texas. That is his first pass breakup of the year. And the Sooners will be forced to kick the field goal.
And a moral victory here for the Texas A&M defense.
OU has to take every opportunity given them to put points on the board. And they have another one now with 7:28 to play. The ball is down, Duncan's kick, and he remains perfect on the year. Tim Duncan with the field goal following the fumble on the kickoff, and Oklahoma leads 27-0.
It's Comeback Saturday across the nation, and we've got scores and highlights of all the upsets and big comebacks coming up on the Nissan Halftime Report. Plus, Kellen Winslow will have more on the Longhorns' big upset at #3 Nebraska. It's all ahead at the half, but right now I want to know, Artie, can Kansas State win the Big 12 North?
Absolutely, Kansas State can win it. I think that Nebraska is still going to be a huge obstacle for them. But I love, Ron, Kevin and Kellen, the resiliency of Kansas State. The way they come back.
November 6th is when those two teams meet. Jason Webster crosses the 20 up to the 25-yard line, and that's where the Aggies will begin play. As we take a look at our national game summary, Heupel 183 yards. He threw for a touchdown. He rushed for a couple more. The OU special teams, they've blocked a field goal. They've faked a punt, faked a field goal, recovered a fumble. And Eric Bernard, one rush. -3 yards.
But here's where you want to give the game ball right there so far to the special teams of Oklahoma, because they have set everything up for Heupel to execute and finish the drive.
Toombs and Bernard from the I formation. McCown puts it up in the flat, first down. Texas A&M completed to Chris Cole, the senior out of Orange, Texas. They call him Hollywood.
And he acts like Hollywood, and I like him. He's 6 foot, 195 pounds, and is an excellent athlete. And one of the things A&M wants to do, or wanted to do tonight, was throw the football to him and Chris Taylor on first down. And Cole knows that if the ball is thrown around him, he's going to go up and catch it.
Pickup of 11 on the play. First and 10 from the 36. Taylor in motion. They keep it on the ground over the right side up to the 44-yard line is Jamar Toombs. Toombs, the leading rusher at 43 yards per game. That's the lowest average since 1983 when Roger Vick was carrying the football for the Aggies.
You know what's interesting about the Aggies this year, Ron? They have not had a runner gain 100 yards in the game this year. And, you know, that's very un-Texas A&M-like, so to speak.
See the total offense. In fact, the most rushing yards by an individual, 71 by Dante Hall versus Louisiana Tech. He's not here. Straight ahead, crossing the 45. Good for another first down for the Aggies. I'll get all the football news, highlights, and analysis you can handle as we bring you in-depth pro, college, and even high school pigskin coverage. It's weeknights at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings for football news. And the news tonight, the Aggies are getting beat 27-0, 6:22, and that young Sooner fan, part of the sellout crowd of over 77,000, enjoying what they see. Texas A&M putting it up on first and 10. They're going deep. Has a man incomplete, intended for Leroy Hodge. And we have a penalty flag. Roy Williams doesn't like the call. The redshirt freshman out of Union City, California. Al Dowden, our referee this evening.
The ball was in the air a long time, and when the ball is in the air a long time, there's always some pushing and shoving. And in this particular case, Williams gets flagged for it.
Yeah, you get the gist of the call. It is a first down for Texas A&M. Bob Stoops, obviously a defensive coach himself in Florida, brother Mike Stoops.
Yeah, and a secondary coach. As you see Hodge, number 88, go, but I'll tell you, that's close.
Yeah,
that is very close.
Come from a defensive family. Even his father was a defensive coordinator, and you can see the first downs, only 4 for A&M. 3 wide receivers to the left. McCown from the shotgun going down the right side. Pass incomplete, intended for Bethel Johnson, and he looks like he may be hurt.
And that's what we were talking about, a little bit more of the bomb mentality on first and 10. A&M has got to get caught up here so they get a score before halftime.
May have gotten the wind knocked out of him. He's holding his stomach. Not sure if he fell on the football, which happens a lot. And they're going to check him out. Let's take a look at it again.
You see Johnson go up for the ball, and it just slips out of his hand, and it looks like he gets a knee into the side of his rib cage there.
All right, I think a question that I think a lot of A&M fans and a lot of people in the national media asking, has Texas A&M gotten away from that physical game that they were so successful for a couple of decades where they wore the opponents down and kept their defense fresh?
Well, I think a little bit, but you know, coming into the game, they had rushed for almost 170 yards per game. I think a couple things have happened. Their better athletes are wide receivers, and in an attempt to help the running game, they've loosened it up by throwing the ball down the field, and as they've done that, they've ended up liking it because they've been successful at it. As we see Johnson being helped off the field, but he appears to be okay.
Well, Randy McCown of R.C. Slocum's there. Slocum on record price throwing the football.
You know, they have completed this year, Texas A&M has, 8 passes of 40 yards or more. Now, sometimes in the R.C. Slocum tenure, that didn't happen in the entire year.
Now they're saying it's a hit pointer for Bethel Johnson. They should be back. A&M 2nd and 10 from the Sooner 37, and the officials are blowing the whistle. The play clock was at 9, and there's going to be a timeout charged to the Sooners, and we'll keep it right here. 6:01 left to play in the first half. OU's done just about everything. But we still have plenty of football coming your way next Saturday. An exciting day of college football. Most of you will see number 20 East Carolina, a winner today, versus the Cougars of Houston. And number 3 Nebraska travels to Lawrence, Kansas to take on Terry Allen's Kansas Jayhawks. The Jayhawks a big winner today over Missouri. Nebraska looking to rebound from their loss to Texas. And we all get it underway at 3:30 Eastern time right here on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings, and we hope you will join us.
One great thing about the Big 12 this year is the race is not going to be decided probably until the Thanksgiving Day weekend, because it is close. There's a lot of equal teams, a lot of outstanding coaches, and obviously some outstanding players. It's almost a conference of defense this year.
Well, the Big 12 North also a big dog race today. Kansas State winning this afternoon, beating Oklahoma State up in Stillwater, and you can see the updated standings. Nebraska now drops into a tie for Colorado, who slipped by Iowa State today. So it is still anybody's ball game in the North. And who will be in San Antonio for the Big 12 championship game? I think you're right. Won't be decided for a couple of weeks. 2nd and 10, I formation, 1 receiver to the left. The one-man pattern again. McCown going deep. Has the man. Touchdown, Texas A&M. Chris Taylor, the junior from Madisonville, Texas, his 4th of the year. It covered 37 yards.
Well, the soft-spoken ex-quarterback reached up and grabbed the football out of the air. And that's the thing that we were just talking about, the momentum and the confidence factor that A&M needs to put them right back into this football game.
Randy McCown is so resilient, so gutsy, you don't count him out in a football game. And he showed it there. So A&M getting on the board, and A&M looks like they're going to be going for 2. McCown stays in the ball game. And the officials blowing a whistle. You can see 37 yards on the TD. And they start the play clock again.
And this, I agree with this decision by Steve Craigthorpe, the offensive coordinator, and R.C. Slocum. Get points while you can.
2 wide receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Toombs the lone back. McCown has it tipped, and it'll fall harmlessly incomplete. Tipped by Torrance Marshall, the junior out of Boonville, Missouri. 5:53 left in the half. The Sooners lead by 3 touchdowns. The 2-point conversion failed, but Texas A&M gets on the board. The number 13 team in the country is still trailing the Sooners 27-6. Just inside of 6 minutes left to play in the first half. Oklahoma providing the fireworks this evening. Jarrell Jackson already with a big kickoff return. This time they kick it short. Fumble, ball is loose, but Oklahoma Johnny on the spot. Seth Luttrell, who already has a nice fake punt. You can see the hit. Ball pops up. Luttrell again. Right place, right time. 2nd time this evening.
You know, on that last touchdown, you're going to see Chris Taylor out here all by himself. But watch what happens in here. Everybody else stays in on the roll. McCowan pump fakes, and Taylor runs right past him, reaches up, and catches the football. A one-man pattern with 9 blockers staying in to protect the quarterback.
Here's that weird formation that the Sooners ran the shuttle pass. This time they just throw it over the middle, and the pass is complete. And again, the strange formation works. This time it goes to Michael Thornton, who's been the recipient of the little shuttle pass.
I'm going to name that formation tackles wide, because both tackles line up outside. A&M has got to tighten up inside and rally to the ball if it's thrown outside, because look what's happening. There's nobody inside. And Heupel is trying to either run the ball inside by handing it off to Thornton or throw the ball inside to him.
Thornton's getting a workout tonight. Went to South Arkansas, quit during 2-a-days, ended up at Navarro Junior College. Said he knew he could play on this level, just needed the opportunity. He's getting it.
He was right. He can play at this level. He's a good football player.
2nd down and 10 for the Sooners from their own 39-yard line. Luttrell in motion. A&M jumping off sides. This is a free play. And the pass will be incomplete as the penalty flags are thrown. Intended for Seth Luttrell, the junior out of Muskogee, Oklahoma, who's a 2-time state wrestling champion at 2 different weights.
And Jason Glenn, the outside linebacker, jumped off sides that time. He's a down guy in their nickel rush. Luttrell reminds a lot of people here of the old Nebraska tailback and fullback Tom Rathman. As we see the offsides against Texas A&M.
Well, Texas A&M did get on the board. Eric, you think that gave them a little confidence that they're back in this game?
Confidence, Ron. This bench exploded when Chris Cole caught that long touchdown pass from Randy McCown. I think they know a little bit of OU's recent history of blowing some leads. Let's see what happens later on, guys.
Another pass is tipped by the A&M defensive line. This time it's done by a linebacker, Gerard Penwright, the freshman out of Aldine, Texas. And Heupel, you can see the numbers on him as far as distance is concerned. 2 rushing touchdowns, but they are getting a piece of the football tonight.
And this is called right in here, ball control passing. They're not throwing the ball down the field, but they're getting it to the receivers and hope that the receivers can catch the ball, turn up the field, and run with the ball, which is exactly what they do. And they do it well.
On 3rd and 5, Heupel. Pass complete to the 40, down to the 39-yard line. Another Oklahoma first down. Chris Hammonds, the junior out of Sulphur, Oklahoma.
Hammonds is a blue-collar, hard-nosed football player. High school quarterback that the coaches weren't even sure was going to play tonight. And he makes a good catch there, and he's a part of this offense in that ball control inside and outside passing game, you know, from 0 to 20 yards.
Pickup of 17, another Oklahoma first down. Again from the shotgun, Aggies showing blitz. They throw it off in the flat to Thornton. Eric Clemens he gets the lucky jobs. He goes to do the tailgating. Now he gets to be with the homecoming queen.
I sure do, guys. I'm with the civilized people, looking good, looking sharper than me even. Homecoming queen and king and queen. Kathy, Kelly, and Brian Max had first. Kathy, your team has a big lead, but they've blown big leads before. Do you expect them to hold on at homecoming?
I hope so. Maybe we can go give them a pep talk. I don't know.
How about you, Brian?
We got this one.
Got this one in the bag, huh? No blown leads.
You can't lose homecoming.
Okay, this will be a moment for you to remember forever if they hold on. All right. Good luck to you both, guys.
Eric Clemens, our ladies' man. Skinner bouncing off tackle, spinning, still on his feet. What an effort by Reggie Skinner, the senior. Webster was holding on for dear life, but this senior kept the legs pumping.
Again, Oklahoma attempting to run the football, running it behind Stocker McDougal, but this is called violent running by Skinner. He just keeps going. He will not be brought down. He does a great job of violent running. As Mark Mangino told us they were going to try to run the ball today, and so far they've been successful.
A&M just can't stop Oklahoma. Heupel, pass, complete. Looking for Pater, down to the 2-yard line is Antoine Savage. Boy, this is a good-looking freshman. He now has become the all-time freshman receiver in Oklahoma history, 24 yards on that catch.
The Oklahoma receivers are taught when they catch the football to turn and get right up the field and go to the goal line. Don't dance, don't go east and west, turn and get right up the field. That was an example of what they're coached to do once they catch the ball.
On 1st and goal, banging ahead down to the 1-yard line, short of the touchdown. You made a great point, Artie, about the receivers, what they're taught. They're taught that, and they're taught to finish their pattern even if the ball doesn't come to them, and that's part of the discipline that Bob Stoops has instilled here.
And it's also one of the reasons they, coming into today's game, they had over 800 yards after the contact. When they caught a pass, somebody touched them. 800 yards after the first contact with their receivers.
Heupel for his 3rd touchdown of the night. Coach Leach, Coach Stoops, masterful plan tonight. And the A&M locker room at halftime is going to be very interesting. They've got to be scratching their heads. We talked about the entertaining OU offense. We're seeing it. High snap, ball's put down, kick is good. 3:34 to play in the half. Josh Heupel has thrown for a touchdown. He has rushed for 3. And Bob Stoops knew that this young man was going to be something very special when he came to the University of Oklahoma.
Josh has been an excellent leader in our offense. He's a very calm, confident player, a guy that you would think has been playing in the league a couple of years, the way he goes about his business and the way he is prepared on the field. Accurate thrower, and so I'm just hopeful he'll get better here as the season goes, and I believe he will.
And Josh Heupel told us yesterday, Art, he made a great point. We asked him, why Oklahoma? He said, I'm coming from a JUCO. I'm coming to a school that gets a whole new staff, and Bob Stoops, he said it was the perfect situation.
Yeah, because he wanted to be in a system where he could help engineer the offense by utilizing audibles at the line of scrimmage and obviously throw the football. He manages the team perfectly, and I'll tell you, Bobby Stoops says he's going to get better as the season goes on. I don't know if he can get much better than his performance tonight here in the first half.
Jason Webster set to return the kick.
You know what's interesting about it too? Last year Oklahoma started 4 different quarterbacks and they played 5 different quarterbacks. This year, one guy is running the show.
And it'll be Webster from the 3. Trying the right side, looking for the seam. Nice return as he crosses the 25 up to the 28-yard line with 3:22 to play in the first half. And coming up on our Nissan halftime report, Kevin Frazier and Kellen Winslow with scores and highlights. Boy, if you're from the state of Michigan, you're in a not good mood tonight. Michigan State, Michigan losing. The guys are going to talk about it. Plus, Nebraska losing to number Texas. Bobby Bowden goes for win number 300 against his son. And, of course, R.C. Slocum going for win number 100 tonight. All coming up on our Nissan halftime report. Stay with us. Texas A&M would love to put a couple more points on the board. Shuttle pass, ball is on the ground, but I think A&M jumped back down on it.
Well, it's an incomplete pass, and that's the beauty of the shuffle pass inside, because if it does get dropped, it's considered a forward pass. So it ends up being a safe play. Steve Craythorpe loves this play, but you see McCallum come back, and he just shuffles it to Bernard. He drops it, but it's an incomplete pass and not a fumble. A good, safe play.
The Sooners with almost 300 yards offense, 123 for Steve Craythorpe's Aggies of A&M. 2nd and 10 from the 27. Sooners showing blitz, and here they come. A&M picks it up. Great defensive play by William Barty out of Daytona Beach, Florida.
Clinic corner play on a slant. Reaches in with his right hand and knocks the ball out of the air. No pass interference. That's an outstanding cornerback play by Barty. And he's also having a great night. Watch his right hand come in, just knock the ball out of it, and doesn't touch number 88, Leroy Hodge.
There you see Mike Stoops, co-defensive coordinator. Oklahoma burned for 4 touchdowns on blitzes versus Texas. But tonight they've been successful. 3rd and 10. McCown for the first down. Pass is incomplete. Penalty flag will be thrown. Intended for Chris Taylor. Pee Wee Woods is the one who got caught. Looks like he had his arm, was given a little bear hug.
And Pee Wee's laughing there because he knows that was pass interference. He's not going to dispute the call at all. And I guess that's what happens when you're up by 34-6. You're going to see number 4, Pee Wee Woods, come into your screen, but he is all over the receiver, Baumgartner. That is a good call that time by this officiating crew out of the Big 12. Pee Wee's a solid guy, senior out of Chicago that the coaches have started prior to tonight, the previous 5 games.
Saw the penalty yards, and Stoops wanted to obviously improve on that because last year they were penalized 114 times. Not anywhere close this year.
It's part of the discipline, though, that he's brought into this Oklahoma program.
Sooners rush 4. Pass to the left side, not going anywhere. Oklahoma covered it up. Bethel Johnson on the reception and Roy Williams, the redshirt freshman, on the coverage.
Perfect timing by Williams. Not only is seeing the ball thrown, but anticipating the play develop.
You know, Oklahoma does not have that dominant rusher, but they've done a nice job just containing Randy McCown so far tonight. 2nd down and 13. McCown just throwing it away.
You know what they're doing a good job of mixing it up. Bobby Stoops, as we talked about, is a defensive specialist. They've blitzed, they've covered, they've disguised their coverages tonight and put a lot of pressure physically and mentally on Randy McCown. Bobby Stoops made a name for himself as a defensive coordinator at Kansas State for 7 years and the University of Florida for 3 years.
There's the numbers on Randy McCown. You'd look at that and say he's having a pretty good night. Stoops wants to discourage and dominate the run and force the opponent to throw. And McCown's going to be forced to throw now on 3rd and 13. 3-man rush. Plenty of time. McCown over the middle. Pass is completed and dropped. Incomplete. Oklahoma converging violently, led by Rodney Rideau, the senior out of Midwest City, Oklahoma. And there's Brent Venables.
Rodney Rideau and Roy Williams are all over the football. That time, Oklahoma played a 5 under 3 deep, and the ball was thrown right in the middle of that 3 deep, and the 2 safeties just arrived at the same time on the football.
Oklahoma rushing the punter, and Leckler this time, that is vintage Shane Leckler. A booming kick, and it'll find its way into the end zone. His first 2 efforts weren't Shane Leckler-like. This one was 61 yards on the kick for the #1 punter in the NCAA.
Well, he reminds me of the old Oakland Raider punter, Ray Guy. He's big, he's strong, and he can really put the ball in the air. And you know, when you look at him, watch his form here. Watch his right leg go up in the air, just like a golf swing. The ball is dropped, he gets up, he gets off the ground, and he booms that thing. That is just excellent form in punting the football. He is like Ray Guy.
Well, he's trying to become the 5th player in NCAA history to average better than 45 yards a kick. Oklahoma back to work on offense. They're going to keep it on the ground as we are inside of 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Just a reminder, coming up at halftime on our Nissan Halftime Report, we'll update you on the Michigan State games today. Big upsets in college football, and of course, Texas and Nebraska. Kevin and Kellen all standing by. You think Kellen's a little kind of somber now? That's 2 Missouri losses in a row.
Well, I'm just shocked that they got shut out.
Yeah.
That's one of the big upsets, I think, in the conference today.
I think Kellen has some eligibility left. I think we could find some here and there. Curtis Fagan in motion. Quick pass into the flat. It is complete to Brandon Daniels. Looking for the first down marker. Reaches forward, and he may have gotten it.
Run after catch. What these Oklahoma receivers do so well. They catch the ball, they get it up the field. It's almost like running plays, which is why Heupel doesn't throw the football down the field deep, because he's got receivers that are big and athletic that can turn and catch the ball, and Mike Leach loves getting the football in their hands, and I don't blame him.
They've shown the ability to have the consistent drives tonight. They keep it on the ground. Thornton jitterbugging around. And again, showing some strength with Michael Jameson hanging on. Inside of 1:15 to play in the half.
This style of offense that Oklahoma is employing puts a lot of pressure on the defenders from Texas A&M. You get a guy like Thornton who can run inside, run outside, catch passes in the flat, catch the quick screens. Boy, you don't know what to take away if you're the defensive players and coaches from Texas A&M.
Inside of a minute, Heupel into the flat to Luttrell. Stays on his feet, crossing the 40, up to the 44-yard line. Another OU first down after a pickup of 9 on the play.
He was stopped by Harold Robertson.
And we have a player down.
First down centers from the 44-yard line.
Harold Robertson, the sophomore out of Dallas, Texas. A linebacker is down.
You know what else happens against an offense like this? Because the ball is thrown horizontally all over the field, there's a lot of weird angles that the defenders have to take in their pursuit angles. And you're going to see Robertson right here come into the screen. Number 41, he makes a valiant effort, but he's leading with the helmet, and it looks like he jams his head on the knee of Luttrell. But he seems to be okay, which is great news. But you have to be a very good open field tackler to play defense against the spread passing game.
Oklahoma, 375 yards total offense here in the first half. That is remarkable. On 1st and 10 from their own 44, they're looking for more. Heupel throwing deep, has a man, but it'll be incomplete, intended for Curtis Fagan out of Katy, Texas, just outside of Houston.
That time, Heupel was anticipating a blitz. He kept both backs in to help on protection, and he was anticipating man coverage, and he threw the ball down the field. But look at the numbers by Josh Heupel here in the first half. 25 of 39 for 273 yards. In the Barry Schweitzer era, that was 4 games worth of passing for Oklahoma.
Heupel's pass off the pad, intercepted by Texas A&M. Curry comes up with it. Cedric Curry out of Houston, Texas, intended for Andre Woolfolk, but a hit off his pads.
Woolfolk sees the ball, it's thrown right in there, and the ball bounces up in the air, and Curry comes up with it. Great job by Brandon Jennings, number 30, the safety, of coming over the top and disrupting it and getting his right hand in, which gets the ball up in the air.
A&M has 23 seconds to work with. They trail 34-6. McCown looking for somebody. The receivers come back to the football, and it is Bethel Johnson. First down, A&M. To tell you how big that 375 is for Oklahoma offense, they averaged last year 293 a game.
Well, you know what? This year they're averaging 4 something a game. They're averaging 435 a game. They almost got their season's game average here in the first half. Well, you look at this improvement, Ron. 107th in passing and 101st in total offense last year. The improvement has just been astronomical for this offensive unit.
After the pickup of 15, A&M comes to the line, and we have a penalty flag thrown. It'll be the substitution rule again. The old tap on the shoulder and point the other way.
And what it is, you cannot have 12 men in the offensive huddle or 3 yards near the offensive huddle. We do not want to deceive the defense. The defense has the right to know which personnel is in the game.
I'll tell you, the Stoops guys have to be very impressed with their defense, considering the last 2 games they've given up 72 points, over 1,100 yards. And tonight, a completely different story.
And those Stoops guys, as you refer to the Stoops brothers, you knew about it in practice. Because they let their defense know about it the other day when we were at practice.
Bethel Johnson in motion, 15 seconds left. He's flying down the right side. McCown's looking for him and overthrows him. Michael Thompson, a true freshman out of Bristow, Oklahoma, on the coverage. And the talking has begun between the two. Nissan halftime report coming up straight ahead, and I don't think Mike Stoops is going to be watching it. He's got other things to tend to.
Mike Stoops is very, very intense. He's the associate head coach and co-defensive coordinator.
Wait a minute, how come you coaches never look happy? That's what I want to know.
Well, because you never are.
Oh, okay.
Because the Aggies have got 6 points tonight, and they might get another one here. Coaches are never happy.
Final 10 seconds of the half. McCown again scrambling. Dangerous pass thrown into the end zone, almost caught. Michael De La Torre, the redshirt freshman out of Katy, Texas, almost had a touchdown. Look at it once again. This was almost remarkable.
Ball was thrown up in the air. De La Torre almost catches it. Wow, that would have been a great momentum and confidence builder for Texas A&M. Boy, they almost caught it. Ball almost fell into his hand, into his lap.
The big 6'5" tight end couldn't come up with it. A&M with 144 yards offense. Sooners with 375. Heupel, great job passing. 25 of 40, 1 touchdown, and the Oklahoma Sooners have the 34-6 halftime lead over the number 13 Aggies of Texas A&M. Now let's send it to our College Football Saturday studios for the Nissan halftime report with Kevin Frazier and Kellen Winslow. Gentlemen.
Ron, thanks a lot, and welcome to the Nissan halftime report, another super Saturday of college football. My partner Kellen Winslow is calling this Comeback Saturday. We'll show you why in a second, but first let's talk about A&M and Oklahoma. And Kellen, what it looks like is Bob Stoops has brought that fun and gun over to the Big 12, and they have no answers for that kind of offense.
No one in the Big 12 right now knows how to deal with this formation offense. They're spreading the field and forcing them to play these wide receivers one-on-one. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Bob Stoops is going to change the face of the Big 12. He's going to force teams to go out and recruit better defensive backs and linebackers who can run. If you can't stop the pass, Oklahoma's going to run away with the Big 12.
And they are running away with this game right now. Let's get to the highlights.
The last 2 years, Texas A&M has outscored Oklahoma 80-7, as OU hasn't beaten A&M since 1993. The final of that game was 44-14. They had the ball only 8 minutes, and Oklahoma leads 34-6. They've done it every which way, including some unusual plays, and Artie explains more. Artie?
Well, Ron, one of the offensive formations that Oklahoma has used has been tackles wide, where they take their 2 offensive tackles and line them out here. On the right side is 363-pound Stuker McDougal. Now, what happens on this play, Heupel will throw the ball outside to a receiver, the tackle will block downfield, the receiver will block downfield, and Thornton will seal it off, and the receiver will get up the field. This is a play that A&M has got to be able to stop. As you take a look at it, watch the blocking downfield, watch the ball get outside, and then the ball get up the field. And now let's throw down to the sidelines to our Eric Clemens, who talked to both coaches about the second half.
Well, Artie, I did talk to both coaches. Bob Stoops of OU said, hey, we're not looking at the scoreboard. We still have to execute in all phases here in the second half. Coach R.C. Slocum, by the way, said, hey, we were out-coached, outplayed. We were down to Kansas State by 17. We'll have to make a Herculean effort to get back in the game. Ron and Artie?
All right, thank you very much, Eric, and I'm sure that the A&M and Oklahoma players both know what happened to Oklahoma State today after going up 21-0 and what happened at the Iowa State-Kansas State game a few weeks ago. And the second half is underway. Texas A&M will take the opening kickoff. Jason Webster looking to make something happen. Spinning, still on his feet from behind, fumbles the football. Oklahoma falling on it. And I think it'll be A&M's ball. He rolled out of bounds with it. Didn't have possession before he touched out of bounds for Davis.
That would have broken the back of Texas A&M if Oklahoma would have recovered that football. You see Webster get up the field and spinning and turning, and we talked about angles, and the ball gets exposed in the kicking game. That was a great job by Oklahoma of stripping the ball, and R.C. Slocum knows his offense has got to score, or at least put 3 points on the board in this initial drive here.
Now Mike Woods is the one who stripped him, but it went to no avail. You can see the total offense in that first half. Oklahoma 376 yards to 144 for A&M. It has been a strange night. We still have a week to Halloween. McCown's pass is complete, and it has been a night of very strange plays.
Yeah, with a lot of fakes and deception in the kicking game. A lot of throwing outside, inside, and shuttle passes to running backs. Fake punts. And big plays in the passing game that turn into flea flickers.
And it is obvious Oklahoma is just going to try to put some kind of pressure on McCown here. They're going to keep it on the ground and try to get a running game going. They do get the first down with big Jamar, too, as Barry Holloman, the sophomore out of Oklahoma City, on the tackle. But it is a Texas A&M first down.
Ron, like we were talking, during halftime, it's going to be interesting to see what R.C. Slocum does. Because to me, you just can't throw the ball down the field each and every play. You want to establish some time of possession as we look at the first half time of possession, but also some toughness to let Oklahoma know you're back in this football game. And you do that by running the football.
A&M averaged 6 yards a play, but they only had it 8 minutes in the first half. McCown looking for somewhere to go. And he's just going to take the smart way out and just head to the sideline. Torrance Marshall was the one chasing him, the junior from Boonville, Missouri. Young man who was out of football for a year and a half. Reminds a lot of former Sooners of Corey Ivy, and he runs like Terrell Peters.
Randy McCown is having a hard time getting rid of the football, but the credit has got to go to the secondary of Oklahoma. They're really blanketing these wide receivers from A&M, which is why you're seeing McCown scramble quite a bit tonight. Nice job by the secondary that's been maligned prior to this game.
Now the cornerbacks playing up on the wide receivers for A&M. Looks right, throws left, pass is going to be incomplete. Coverage by Michael Thompson. Nobody bit for the fake, intended for Chris Taylor.
Pee Wee Woods all over that, and they're in man-to-man. Now watch what happens down here. Pee Wee Woods is going to stay on his man. You're going to see McCown fake to the right, pump fake, and then throw the fade to the bottom of the screen. But because Woods was playing man-to-man, he never, ever bit on the pump fake because his eyes are on the receiver, not the quarterback. Good discipline by Woods.
Third down and 8. McCown's pass incomplete, short. Intended for Hodge.
And McCown pays the price. He never saw the blitz coming. Mike Stoops called the blitz. You're going to see it to the right of your screen. You're going to see number 4, Pee Wee Woods, come off the corner on a corner blitz. He doesn't get there initially, but he's part of the problem as Rocky Calvis knocks McCown down. A good call in a timely fashion.
And Randy's slow to get up. He's going to be helped off by the trainers. We'll try to make sure he's all right, as Leckler's last effort was 61 yards. Averaged over 50 yards a kick in that first half after 2 that were less than spectacular. Good snap. Fumble. Ball is on the ground, and Oklahoma will cover up. Jarrell Jackson just putting the body around the pigskin, and Oklahoma will have the football. A kick of 33 yards for Shane Leckler, and Josh Heupel, who had an excellent first half, comes back. You see the numbers on him, 273 yards. This is what he has done.
And again, the decision-making process and his leadership at the line of scrimmage in audibles have complemented the physical skills and what you're seeing here, him throwing the football to different receivers. He dishes the ball all over the field and very seldom makes the wrong decision as to who to throw to.
The quick pass is complete. Andre Woolfolk works his way over the 30 up to the 32-yard line. And one thing about this OU offense, it is designed to work no matter what defense. A lot of coaches are concerned about what defense they'll play. Leach says, listen, this thing's going to work no matter what you throw at it.
Yeah, and you look at the possessions, it is working because they've had 4 touchdowns, 2 field goals, and 1 interception in the first half. So that's pretty good success ratio, number 1, and that means everything is working and clicking on all cylinders.
A&M showing blitz. Heupel Thornton is met in the backfield, and he is going to be dropped for a big loss. Now, Michael Thornton never had a chance because Brian Gamble, the redshirt freshman out of Alto, Texas, and East Texas, comes up with a hit.
Ah, yes, the sounds of football, plastic on plastic. And it does my heart good when I see a linebacker blitz
and tackle a ball carrier in the backfield. That's a great job by Brian Gamble.
3rd down and 8 for the Sooners.
Look at the formation here. No backs in the backfield except the quarterback. 5 receivers outside.
They were 4 of 9 in the first half. A&M with a blitz. Heupel going on a fly pattern left side, and it is going to be thrown incomplete, intended for Jarrell Jackson. Looked like a little mix-up there, didn't it?
Yeah, you know, Jackson was turning to the inside. The ball was to the outside. Again, Heupel does not throw the ball deep that much. They anticipated man-to-man coverage. They anticipated some kind of blitz, so he went for the home run.
Well, maybe this will be OU's first punt. Of course, they had a fake on their other punt, which went for a 41-yard gain, courtesy of Seth Luttrell.
You're going to see OU lined up with -1 man. As you see number 88, Trent Smith, come into the game a little bit late.
Jeff Ferguson set to kick it away, standing on his 13. It's a pretty good kick. Fair catch is called at the 20, and that'll be a 54-yarder for Ferguson. Well, Oklahoma forced to punt for the first time this evening with 11:58 left in the 3rd. They lead it 34-6. College Football Saturday on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by National Car Rentals. So, what are you waiting for? Along with Eric Clemens and Artie Gigantino, I'm Ron Thulin, welcoming you back to a homecoming sellout crowd of over 77,000 for the Oklahoma Sooners and the Aggies of Texas A&M. Right now, Oklahoma leading 34-6. Randy McCowan slow to get up the last time. The homecoming queen likes what she sees. Kathy Kelly of Tulsa. But McCowan is back into the lineup. We thought he may be taken in for x-rays, but he's going to play through it. He is a tough young man. Play action. Overthrown. Artie, not to speculate, but it looked like it may have been ribs. Do you think that may have something to do with an overthrown football? Once again, it's pure speculation.
Yeah, it could a little bit, but that time on, he read a 3-deep coverage. He thought he could get a wide receiver into one of the seams, so he went for broke, hoping to hit the home run on the post. But he did overthrow it, and I don't know. He's been a little bit off tonight in terms of his deep passes, and R.C. Slocum knows that they got to get something going here and get back into this football game.
They haven't had a game this year where they got the total package together. They haven't put offense and defense together yet this year. Well, Texas A&M is going to call a timeout. 11:53 to play in the 3rd. A&M needs to put something on the board and do it quickly. It has been a picture-perfect evening for the Sooners of Oklahoma as they lead the number 13 ranked team in the country 34-6. A&M 2nd and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Randy McCown from the shotgun. Looking for the over-the-middle screen, and that will fall harmlessly. Incomplete. Eric Clemens, you have an update on Randy McCown and why he's staying in the football game.
Well, he did bruise the left shoulder, Ron Thulin, but he was insistent. He was supposed to go into the locker room for precautionary x-rays. He insisted that he come back out in the game, and you see him out on the field right now, a testament to the toughness of Randy McCown. Guys?
Absolutely.
Well, you know, he's a Jim McMahon type, the old Chicago Bear quarterback. R.C. Slocum has compared him to McMahon. And one of the things he compares is McMahon's toughness. And that's a great example of it, Eric.
3rd down and 10, 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the top of your screen. Pressure, McCown looking for the first down yardage stick, and he is going to be about 4 yards short. That does not do anything for your shoulder. Rocky Kalmus, the sophomore out of Jenks, Oklahoma, a real powerhouse of football up near Tulsa on the stop.
You know, if McCown cannot function properly here in the second half, you know, the Texas A&M Aggies have really got to think about how they want to end this game, because the 2 backups are both inexperienced young players.
Shane Leckler, the former quarterback, came to A&M as a QB. Said he hated punting when he first got to A&M. Jarrell Jackson standing on his 30, moves up to the 35, did not call the fair catch. We'll bring it up to the 40. We have a little pushing and shoving going on. 36 yards on the kick, 3 yards on the return. Just a programming note, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, it's the NFL This Morning with Chris Myers, Jackie Slater, Marv Levy, and Chris Spielman. Special guest Denver Bronco head coach Mike Shanahan, only the 5th coach in history to lead his team to back-to-back Super Bowl wins. Broncos are looking for their 3rd straight after a dismal 0-4 start. So join us for the NFL this morning, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, right here on Fox Sports Net.
And did you know that Mike was a graduate assistant here at the University of Oklahoma in 1973? He's come a long way, I would think.
Oh, boy.
He's not a happy camper these days in Denver.
No. Heupel throws it out to the safety valve, and it is complete. Quickly being covered up. Curtis Fagan out of Katy, Texas. Not a big pickup.
Watch McDougal here, number 78, Stocker McDougal, a big man using his feet and his hands. Wow, look at those feet. He spent a tremendous amount of time this offseason increasing his ability to move his feet, and that was a great example of it worked, because that is a big, good-looking athlete who's going to make a lot of money someday playing in the NFL.
He is huge. Pickup of 4. Thornton, right side. Cuts back close to the 50, up to the 48-yard line. They need to get to the 50 for the first down. Gamble on the stop.
Both backs, Skinner and Thornton, do a great job of seeing where the hole is. That time Thornton was looking inside, saw the hole to the outside, and bounced outside. Vision is a characteristic that's very hard to coach, and the great running backs all have excellent vision.
Well, looking at a little x-rays there. Not sure who it is. And I think it's a substitution penalty. Will go against Oklahoma, and it is. Second one this evening. Each team has one.
You know, one of the problems with rotating receivers, they got 9 or 10 different receivers, 3 or 4 backs, is you don't know who's in the game sometimes. And it's very hard on the coaches on the sidelines to keep track of it. Bob Stoops has done a great job, though, of not being over-penalized this year in that area. And it's something when you're implementing a new system that I think happens. You get penalized. As we look at the offensive line coach, Mark Mangino, who was at Kansas State with Bob Stoops and Bill Snyder.
Mark Mangino, the pride of Newcastle, Pennsylvania. 3rd down and 8 for the Sooners. 3 wide receivers to the left. The Aggies bringing a bunch. Heupel showing some patience, and it'll be incomplete, almost intercepted by Cornelius Anthony, the junior out of Missouri City, Texas. That would have been his first Oski of the year.
You know, it looks like the A&M defense has settled down here a little bit in the second half, and the OU offense has lost its swagger, so to speak. You don't see as much razzle-dazzle as we did at the beginning of the game.
So twice in a row, Oklahoma will be forced to punt. Chris Taylor and Jason Webster standing back at their own 18-yard line.
Now, Ferguson ought to get an Academy Award for his fake job at the beginning of the game on that fake punt. He acted like the ball was going over his head. Did a great job of it.
Another great kick by Ferguson. Fair catch is being called for at the 5-yard line. Ferguson has had 2 punts. This one goes for 52 yards, and he has gotten the job done. 54 on his first, 52 on this one, and the Aggies are backed up. With 9:20 left in the third, A&M has replaced Randy McCowan with a redshirt freshman out of Grand Prairie, Texas, just outside of Dallas, number 8, Vance Smith. He is 6'4", 235 pounds, has 8 passes this year. He has completed 4. They like this young man's arm. He is picked off, intercepted by Roy Williams, the first of his career.
Number 38, Roy Williams.
Roy Williams read that pass the entire way when it left the hands of Vance Smith. Oh, this is a simple out. Vance Smith looks to the outside to his right. He looks exactly where he's going to throw the football, uncorks it, and Williams just steps in. Now, Williams was covering the flat. He was a safety covering the flat. He was a rolled-up safety and leaps up and catches the ball. Great job by Williams of playing zone and reading the quarterback.
Oklahoma with another excellent opportunity. Here comes the blitz. The ball is on the ground, and Heupel will take a seat back at the 22-yard line.
You know, Heupel was looking down the field when the ball was snapped. I don't think he expected the ball to be snapped when it was snapped.
Loss of 7 on the play for Heupel.
Watch Heupel here. He's looking somewhere else. Watch his head, and then watch the ball being snapped. He's not looking. He's talking to somebody. He's calling an audible, and the center, O'Neal, snapped the ball without Heupel being aware of it.
Well, he talked to us yesterday about a lot of silent counts they do have. That was real silent.
Yeah, he didn't even know it was coming.
Heupel going for the end zone, off the fingertips of Jarrell Jackson. Sammy Davis on the coverage, the freshman out of Humboldt, Texas. Jackson was about a half an inch away from getting another 6.
Good throw that time, man. Boy, that was close. Now Jackson's going to think about that one tonight because he could have caught that one.
Little alligator arms right there.
And you know, Sammy Davis does a great job of, again, getting up in the air. Now you can see why these A&M coaches are so high on the candy man, number 22, Sammy Davis.
On 3rd and 17. Again, Texas A&M bringing everybody. Looking in the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma! Trent Smith, the redshirt freshman out of Clinton, Oklahoma.
The coaches think he will be the next Steven Alexander or Keith Jackson at the tight end position here at Oklahoma. He is a superstar in the makings. Number 88, Trent Smith, outstanding athlete. And you saw why the coaches are so high on him with that catch.
3 receptions, 30 yards, and a touchdown, the second of his career. The extra point is good by Mr. Duncan. This is a perfect pass by Josh Heupel and an even better catch. But putting it on the money the way this young man did, very impressive to say the least.
Great pass, but outstanding athleticism by Smith. You're going to see the ball delivered. He goes up and he just takes the ball out of the air in front of number 1, Michael Jamison. You'll love athleticism in a tight end, and that's a wonderful example of it.
Well, Smith took 6 inches on Jamison on that one.
And Jamison's an outstanding player, but I'll tell you, I don't know if he could have done anything about that. That was just a wonderful play by the offensive players throwing and catching.
Once again, the last time OU won, the score was 44-14. They're closing in on that now.
Well, there's some big smiles on that Oklahoma sideline, and you haven't seen the smiles there in the last 3 years. Oklahoma has been 12-22 the last 3 years.
They haven't had a winning season since 1993. But Texas A&M, as far as their offense, you can't score unless you have the football, and they've had the ball less than 11 minutes in this football game, and this is a team that averages 30 minutes, and you can see what Heupel has done so far this year. Not too bad. The kick, 7 yards deep. A&M will take a knee. Well, now if you're R.C. Slocum, you have just over 8 minutes left to play in this quarter, plus a whole other quarter. It's a big uphill climb.
Yeah, it is. And Steve Craythorpe and the offensive coordinator, R.C. Slocum, have got to make a decision here. Now, what to do? And to me, you don't want to put Vance Smith, your young quarterback, in a situation where you get his confidence ruined. So execute a simple offense, give him some game experience, and see what happens. As we look at Steve Craythorpe, who's one of the great young coaches in this country on offensive football, just having a tough night tonight with this offense from A&M.
Well, Smith is back in. One of the problems A&M addressed early in the season, they really didn't have any experience at backup quarterback. They keep it on the ground. Mark Ferris is the other backup. He's a true freshman. He's a 24-year-old who played pro baseball. Nobody really to back up. Well, next Saturday, an exciting day of college football. Most of you will see Houston taking on number 20 East Carolina. Then the Nebraska Cornhuskers look for a little revenge as they travel to Lawrence, Kansas to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. Going to be a great day of college football. It begins at 3:30 Eastern on Fox Sports Net. Randy McCown can only sit and watch. Shoulder is injured. We hope to get an update on his status in a couple of minutes. Smith's second pass. This one is complete. Short of the first down, Eric Bernard, who has been extremely quiet, once again playing for Dante Hall, who is injured, did not even make the trip.
You know, that pass even though it's only 6 or 7 yards, Ron, will give Vance Smith some confidence. You know, hey, I threw my first completion of the night and get him going into a rhythm.
And you know, we haven't called the name of Tiki Hardiman at all tonight. He has been injured also. You take a Hardiman and a Hall out of your lineup, and that puts you in a big hole. And down less than a yard.
And at the beginning of the year, it was such a deep position for him.
Smith with the keeper. That'll be good for a first down. Well, this offense of R.C. Slocum has gotten better and better each game. He's been very pleased with it, but tonight hasn't been the case.
Well, you know, coming into the game, Ron, they were 16th in the country, averaging 440 yards per game, second in the Big 12, and 14th in the country in scoring. In fact, 4 games this year, they had scored over 30 points. So it's a frustrating evening for Steve Craythorpe and for R.C. Slocum. As you look at the total yardage, 174 yards for A&M and 400 for OU.
On 1st and 10, Smith going deep, has a man, and it is going to be incomplete. Down at the 28-yard line, intended for Chris Taylor.
The typical Texas A&M 1st and 10 play where you take one receiver and run them down the field, you have a little play action in the backfield, and you go for the bomb. Excellent coverage again down the field by number 2, Mike Woods. He's got a cast on his right hand. He broke his wrist, or a bone in his wrist, last week or 2 weeks ago against Texas. Excellent coverage on number 7, Chris Taylor. Well, I love it to see 2 excellent athletes compete like that for the football. Both are winners in that situation.
On 2nd and 10. Keep it on the ground, big hole over the left side, and Jamar Toombs bangs his way up to the 40-yard line. That'll be close to a first down. Roy Williams on the stop, and the Corps making their way up from the College Station area. And what was really impressive, their band at halftime obviously thrills everybody, and the crowd here in OU gave them a standing ovation. They travel well.
When you look at Jamar Toombs at number 5, he has a big S underneath his uniform. He wears a Superman jersey underneath his uniform each and every game. And sometimes he plays like Superman. As we see an unbalanced line here, there's only 2 offensive linemen on this side and a tight end up top.
On 3rd and 1, and he may be short. Torrance Marshall out of Boonville, Missouri on the stop.
Marshall is a physical specimen that the coaches here love. And watch Toombs now. He's going to get the ball and the handoff to the right side, and he just gets nailed at the line of scrimmage by number 10, Torrance Marshall. Marshall is 6'2", 242 pounds, Kemper Military Academy, and as soon as he learns this system here at Oklahoma, the coaches think he's going to be a great inside linebacker because he's got all the physical tools to be outstanding.
That's eyelash. First down, Texas A&M. Well, R.C. Slocum gets a little time of possession now. They're up to 10 minutes and 42 seconds for the football game.
But, you know, the thing that's got to be making him feel good right now, his team is not quit, number 1. And number 2, they're generating some offense here with your backup quarterback in the game. But he's got to get a few more first downs because he's not going to be happy, or he's not happy with only 11 first downs.
Once again, Randy McCown out. He is injured. Not sure if he's going to return. We'll get you an update in just a moment. Smith showing that gun incomplete, intended for Bethel Johnson. And Eric, a lot of players have gone down tonight. We have a penalty flag. But tell us about some injury update.
All right, guys, some injury updates for you, and we have quite a few of them. Randy McCown, not a bruised left shoulder, but a separated left shoulder. He's been taken into the dressing room for x-rays. As far as OU, the official word, Ante Jones, a knee sprain. So that's a little bit better news than we thought earlier. Antoine Savage has an ankle sprain. He is questionable for his return, and hopefully we won't have too many more of these to do, guys. Back to you.
Don't you get hurt out there.
Well, you know, these players, and it's a little lopsided right now for Oklahoma, are flying around, and there's a great deal of contact tonight, and both teams have played very, very hard.
First down and 5. OU late getting out to the wide receivers on the right side. Smith lofting it up. Pass knocked away at the last minute. Penalty flag is thrown.
Pee Wee Woods again in one-on-one coverage. The ball was thrown behind him, and it looks like he reached and grabbed the receiver. And that's what the officials are going to call. But again, you see the accuracy of Vance Smith's passes.
Automatic first down for the Aggies. 5:11 to play in the third. OU scored 17 in the first quarter, 17 in the second. They led 34-6 at halftime, and it is 41-6 now. In case you just joined us, they've done it every which way possible. Fake punts, fake field goals, blocking a field goal, fumble recoveries. They've done it. First and 10 from the 39. Nothing doing. Roy Williams from the strong safety spot, replacing the injured Ante Jones on the stop.
And Torrance Marshall again in on the tackle. That's good swarm up front by this Sooner defense. And they're good young players, and you need a bunch of players around a guy like Toombs because he's hard to bring down. But you know, you look at 94, Ryan Fisher, 99, Barry Holloman. This is a good young defense for Mike Stoops and Bobby Stoops. And you better believe Bobby Stoops, the head coach, has got a great influence on the way this defense is run.
Second and 10, pass is batted away, incomplete. Marshall again, who's doing a yeoman's job tonight. He has been the star on defense.
Watch Marshall now. He's going to come up the field. He's going to time his jump perfectly. He's right here. He's going to come here. The ball is thrown. Watch Smith get the football. He sees it. He jumps up. Bang. Knocks it down. That's great ball skills and ball reaction skills by Torrance Marshall.
Third and 10. Everybody standing at Owen Field. Smith going deep, incomplete, intended for Matt Bumgarner, who has been very quiet tonight. And they strike up Boomer Sooner again. This is quite a position to put this young man in, the redshirt freshman.
But you know, Ron, there's nothing like game experience. And, you know, it is a little negative in terms of the score, but you can't get this in practice. You know, because 78,000 people, even at Texas A&M, don't come and watch practice. So you can't get experiences like this unless it's in a game situation.
A&M going for it on fourth down. Two wide receivers to the right, one to the left. 2 of 6 this season. Smith scrambling pass is going to be intercepted. Oklahoma, they drop it, incomplete. Smart play. If you would have intercepted it, they would have lost about 20 yards of where they're going to get it from. Corey Callens from that right defensive end put the pressure on Smith.
Mike Woods comes back. Now you're going to see number 80, Chris Cole. He says, hey, I'm open. But it doesn't get to him. Obviously, Smith is looking somewhere else down the field. That time, Oklahoma only rushed 3 defensive linemen, and they covered with 8, and it confused the young quarterback, Vance Smith.
Well, Oklahoma takes over the football on their own 40-yard line. Now the clock has become a very good friend of theirs. They swing it out right side to Skinner. Still on his feet. Good hard running as he gets into Texas A&M territory. Now tomorrow at 3:30, Golf Fans tune your channel into Fox Sports Net at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Final round of the Nike Tour Championship. The purse is worth $400,000, but more importantly, you get a chance to pick up your PGA Tour card. And of course, the past Nike Tour grads, John Daly, David Duval, Ernie Els, and Tom Lehman. Final round coverage of the Nike Tour Championship from Alabama tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific on Fox Sports Net. Football to the 30. Knocked out of bounds at the 27-yard line. A pickup of 20 on the play. That should push OU over 100 yards rushing the football tonight.
And this is part of the chess match. Look, there are 5 players from Texas A&M in the so-called box, which is why they hand the ball off inside, because they have a blocker for every defender. There is no one to tackle Skinner because it was 5 blockers on 5 defenders in the box. That's what coaches talk about when they say there are 5 or 6 or 7 defenders in the box.
This time their stuff penalty flag is thrown in the backfield. OU averaging less than 100 yards rushing the football. They're at 114 tonight.
Every time Josh Heupel walks up to the line of scrimmage, he doesn't count 6 guys in there, he's going to hand the ball off or give a shuffle pass to one of his backs.
Well, they disregarded the flag, so there is no penalty. OU 1st and 10 from their own 26-yard line. Heupel checking the sideline for the play.
Now, just so our viewers understand, the coaches signal in the plays, but Heupel has got the freedom to change the play at the line of scrimmage, from a run to a pass or a pass to a run, which is what he's doing here. He's telling his receivers, oh, timeout, not enough time to get the play done.
Well, Texas A&M had 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Well, a big upset in the top 10 tonight in college football. And with the update, our Dr. Pepper game break with Kevin Frazier. Kevin?
Guys, Michigan led Illinois 27-7 in the 3rd quarter, and then it turned into a Rocky Horror show. Rocky Harvey, 54 yards for the score. Illinois scores 4 times late in the game to upset Michigan in the big house. No, Adrian, we did it. Let's go back to Norman.
Unbelievable. That might be the biggest upset of the day, because I thought, just looking at that game, that would be a 55-7 type of game, you know, in favor of Michigan. Man, wacky year in college football as we look at 3 upsets in the top 10. Texas beating Nebraska, obviously Illinois beating Michigan, and then Wisconsin just pounding Michigan State.
And we've got an upset here tonight. Mark Ferris, the 24-year-old, he's a freshman, played professional baseball, decided to come back to A&M, who originally recruited him to play football. He's now warming up on the sideline. They like his maturity, but obviously being out of football for some 6 years, got to get the rust off. A&M on a blitz again. Heupel showing some patience, letting it fly for the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma! Brandon Daniels. Wait a minute, it looks like Daniels, well, he thought they were going to call offensive pass interference. Doesn't have to worry about it. It will be against A&M, and Bob Stoops throw another 6 on the board.
Pass interference called against Texas A&M. The touchdown stands for the Sooners.
You know, the ball thrown that time by Josh Heupel was almost underthrown a little bit, which allowed Daniels to maneuver and come back for the football. Heupel ran a blitz, went for the fade pattern and a deep pattern against A&M, who was playing man-to-man coverage.
That Tim Duncan with field goals and extra points are nearing the average of the Tim Duncan in the NBA. 48-6, OU leading. 26-yard touchdown pass, Heupel to Daniels, and OU putting a thumping on A&M. Short kick, and it'll be Jason Webster from the 4. Big hit at the 20. 16 yards on the return. Seth Luttrell put a whooping on him. And the touchdown again.
Hey, you're going to see Brandon Daniels here. He turns around, he looks for the ball. Michael Jamison goes up for it, but Michael Jamison runs past the football, and Daniels says, hey, I got a touchdown. On 11 possessions, the Oklahoma Sooners have scored 8 times tonight. That's batting pretty good percentage so far for Bobby Stoops' offense.
They'll take that any day of the week. From their own 20, another penalty flag, and Mark Ferris is in the ball game. And Mark, when the flag goes, that means you're supposed to stop. Substitution, second one against A&M this evening.
You know, you look at R.C. Slocum over there. He is the 5th winningest coach, active coach, in all of college football. As we talked about, if A&M were to win this football game tonight, it would have been his 100th win as the A&M head football coach in 11 years. And the school's proud history, 600th win in the football history of A&M.
A&M keeping it on the ground, a little bit on Mark Ferris. Signed a baseball contract with the Pirates out of high school. That was back in 1994. Got all the way to the AA level. Pirates really considered him a pretty good prospect in their organization. Mike Machete of Colorado also was a pretty good prospect. He was a shortstop, of course.
You know, they ought to put an asterisk next to these guys' names because he's a freshman, but he's not a freshman. You know, he's older than a couple coaches on the Oklahoma staff. So those guys should have an asterisk next to their name because of maturity.
Right now, this is the fewest points Texas A&M has scored since Texas game back in 1995. Ferris got a good gun. Pass is complete to Chris Taylor. Had a little velocity on that football.
Taylor turns around, goes up, catches the ball, brings it in. Nice hands by Taylor. You know, he's a soft-spoken young man. He's an ex-quarterback, but this is a good job of just going up, catching the football with your hands. That's called soft hands right there. Your ability to catch the ball and bring it in.
From the north end zone looking south. That is how far Texas A&M has to go as we close inside of 1 minute and 40 seconds to play in the third. Tiki Hardeman now in the backfield. On 3rd and 5, Ferris's pass, incomplete. Right at the 30-yard line. Ferris is big at 6'2". You have to be big.
Well, you have to be tall so you can see over defensive line. He looks inside to throw the slant, but look at those hands get up in his face. You got to be big to see down the middle of the field. And that was an example of why R.C. Slocum and Ray Dorr, the quarterback coach, like tall quarterbacks at A&M.
Jarrell Jackson standing at his 33-yard line. Leckler with a line drive kick. Fair catch is called for at the 38-yard line, a 38-yard kick, and it'll be at the 38. Just a reminder, coming up next, we send you out to the Pac-10. Steve Fiziak, Tom Ramsey, James Lofton standing by as the Ducks of Oregon take on the Wildcats of Arizona. As we complete our day of college football here on Fox Sports Net, it is a chilly evening here in Norman. Temperature probably in the low 50s by now. But it has been a beautiful night for football, and especially if you're wearing the crimson and cream of OU.
Well, you can feel the excitement on this OU campus, and you can feel the excitement in this stadium that OU football is on its way back to prominence.
6 national titles, 3 Heisman Trophy winners, 52 All-Americans. And Bob Stoops said when he looked at that tradition, there was no question about it that this team should be winning. And you can see the 74 and 75 teams will be honored on November the 27th when all of us will come back here to the OSU game. And you can see 34 conference champions, 20 bowl champions. And one thing they've done, too, is they brought Coach Switzer really as a forefront into this program, the new Switzer Center in the south end zone. But Bob Stoops says Barry shows up a lot.
Well, Barry is part of Oklahoma folklore and Oklahoma history. He ought to be part of it. And unfortunately, when a program like this is having tough times, like it did in the Gary Gibbs and Howard Schellenberger and John Blake era, sometimes the older coaches and the older players, the veteran players and coaches, stay away from the program. But the one thing Bob Stoops has done, like you said, Ron, is welcome Barry Switzer back into this program because Barry Switzer is a huge, huge part of Oklahoma football.
They're going to let the clock run down as Jamison is helped off the field for Texas A&M. Another injury for the Aggies. Well, Bob Stoops is 15 minutes away from picking up his 4th win of the year and putting him right in the thick of things of the Big 12 South title. We head to the final stanza, and it is all OU. Oklahoma looking to get back into the top 25, and this thumping right now, if it stays this way, might just put them in the top 25 as we head to quarter number 4, along with Eric Clemens and Artie Gigantino. I'm Ron Cooley. 48-6, OU leading Texas A&M on a homecoming evening. 3rd down and 7. Heupel, pass complete. Damian Mackey all the way down to the 34-yard line. And for a Dr. Pepper game break, here's Kevin Frazier.
Florida State trailing Clemson. Daddy trailing son after a Travis Minor touchdown. They go for 2. Winky to Kendra were all even. And you know who Mrs. Bowden is rooting for? She's rooting for the man who pays the bills. It's all even at 14 in the 3rd quarter, guys.
I'm shocked about that one, Kevin, because I really thought Daddy would end up beating the young man Tommy tonight. What about you, Ron? What you think?
I love Bobby Bowden's comment. He said, Tommy's still in my will, but I can take him out. Wonder if he's going to shake his hand after the game. Oklahoma on 1st down. Skinner bouncing out to the right side, still on his feet. Skinner and Thornton have shown a great ability to stay on their feet tonight, as Oklahoma now closing in on over 125 yards rushing the football.
And 90% of their runs tonight have been behind the right side of the Oklahoma right side. Watch number 59, Bubba Burcham, and Stocker McDougal just clear the way for Skinner. Run behind your strength, and that's exactly what Oklahoma has done tonight.
Now Heupel goes over center, 2nd down and just a yard on the 25. Seth Luttrell, the fullback. As we mentioned, Father Jim, a great fullback here at Oklahoma. He gets the 1st down. I remember Coach Switzer telling everybody a few years ago that it's not the alignment, but it's the alignees. But I think tonight it's probably about 50-50.
It is 50-50, and this is just an abnormal offense. Like the wishbone at one time when Seth Luttrell's dad played here was an abnormal alignment and an abnormal offense. So the Big 12 is going to have to do something to catch up with this high-powered offense. And the key, though, is what you're seeing right there is the quarterback's ability to audible at the line of scrimmage.
Skinner looking for some running room on the outside, tiptoes down the sideline, and they will mark him out at the 10-yard line. A pickup of 11 on the play and another Oklahoma 1st down.
But give the credit to Josh Heupel again, because he audibled to a run because he felt there were not enough defenders in the so-called box to defend the running game.
27 1st downs for Oklahoma tonight.
And watch Reggie Skinner here. He knows exactly where the 1st down marker is, and he gets to it. That's smart running by number 24, the senior, Reggie Skinner.
So it'll be 1st and goal to go, just inside the 10. They keep it on the ground. Skinner bangs his way down to the 5-yard line. That OU offensive line, led by Matt O'Neill, big number 60, the center, has done just a wonderful job. We've talked about Stocker McDougal and what he's done, but O'Neill there, we saw him putting a little whooping on some of the defensive players of Texas A&M.
Well, you know, you look at O'Neill now. He comes from Palomar Junior College out in California, where they throw the ball every down. So this transition from run to pass has really been easy for him because that's what he did in junior college.
2nd down and goal from the 5. Right side, penalty flag is thrown for the moment. Touchdown Oklahoma, Daniels, but it was thrown in the vicinity of Oklahoma, so hold on everything.
You know, that's usually a holding call when the official throws the ball into the line of scrimmage like that. Mark Mangino doesn't like the call. He says, hey, my guys hold? Come on. And Mark was right yesterday when he told us he really wanted to run the ball and to establish more of a running game here in this spread offense.
He is one of the most personable coaches that we have had the opportunity of meeting. He and Coach Leach and both Stoops and Brent Venables, they gave us a good time yesterday.
And he's yelling at the official. He says, hey, what is that for? Come on, it wasn't a hold. Come on. Can you read lips that well?
As long as he says Yuns aren't calling the right game, then we're going to get worried about it. 2nd and goal now. They push it back to the 15-yard line for the Sooners. And again, OU keeps it on the ground. Skinner spinning down to the 10-yard line.
Reggie Skinner, the ball carrier.
Of running the football to the right side of the offensive line. Now, the play starts, but watch the center here, O'Neill, Matt O'Neill, number 60. Keeps his feet moving, and just finishes the defender off. He's a try-hard offensive center that has a chance to be an all Big 12 candidate this year.
Not too bad in the red zone tonight. 6 for 6 as far as opportunities. 4 touchdowns and a couple of field goals. O'Neal, by the way, he pancaked Ron Edwards on that play. He took exception to it. 3rd down and goal from the 10. 3 wide receivers to the left now. Heupel looks to put it up. Looking in the end zone, and it is going to be incomplete. Intended for Woolfolk.
And the crowd wants a hold on that. Woolfolk was breaking to the outside, and an A&M defender held him. The crowd saw it, but the officials didn't.
Looks like he may have gotten poked in the eye.
He did get poked in the eye. Look at him holding his eye there.
Coach Leach bending over. Jackie Shipp, former Oklahoma Sooner in your picture there. Now one of the defensive coaches. And Duncan will attempt the field goal. They spotted at the 17-yard line. It'll be a 27-yard attempt. Fletcher gets it down. Duncan keeps his record perfect on the year. Tim Duncan with another field goal in Oklahoma. As Barry Switzer would say, they hung a half 100 on the Aggies of A&M. .48 left to play in the football game, and Oklahoma leads this game by a lot. And I tell you, if you're Texas A&M, you have to be scratching your head because you haven't put it together again tonight.
No, you haven't, but if you're Oklahoma, you're in great shape because you come out of this with only 1 defeat in the conference. And I'll tell you, you're in great shape to make a run at this Southern title.
Oklahoma kicking off down to the 25-yard line, up to the 28-yard line, and that is as far as Texas A&M will go. Now we have to see who's going to be playing quarterback now for the Aggies.
You know, it'll be interesting to see now here if A&M can continue to move the football. R.C. Slocum would like nothing better than to get on the plane and go home tonight after having scored a couple touchdowns here in the 4th quarter. But it doesn't seem like Oklahoma's going to make it that easy because they're still fired up, and most of their frontline guys are still in the game.
Mark Ferris back in at quarterback for Texas A&M. Once again, if you've just joined us, Randy McCown, separated shoulder. He is out for the evening. Dante Hall didn't make the trip, so they are a little undermanned offensively. Toombs has been quiet tonight, gets the call over the left side. Now I think if you're Texas A&M, obviously you'd like to do something positive, but the number of injuries they've had tonight, don't you have to be just a little bit careful?
Yeah, you do, but you got to keep playing hard, and you know you never know when somebody's going to get hurt. But I think guys get hurt sometimes in situations like this when they don't play hard, and that has not been the case because the injuries that A&M players have suffered have been contact injuries in the field of play, and it's because they're playing real hard. And so are the Oklahoma players.
Ferris looking to put it up. He is hit as he releases the football, and that will be incomplete. You know, when this young man was in high school, a lot of people thought he would be a major star because of his ability to throw the football, but obviously you have that kind of money dangled in front of you that try a little baseball, but R.C. still is very high on this young man.
He might be the Chris Wanke, the quarterback from Florida State, who's 27 years old. He might be the Chris Wanke of Texas A&M someday because he'll compete for the starting job next year. He got a chance to be the starting quarterback for 3 years along with Vance Smith.
3rd down and 7. Oklahoma showing blitz. They back off and they rush forward. Ferris rolls left, throws right, pass is complete to Bethel Johnson.
Pass is complete to number 9.
OU has been away from home for over a month. They have not had a whole lot of home games, so this is quite a homecoming, but that bye week, I think the benefits are being seen tonight for Oklahoma.
Well, one of the benefits of the bye week is you get healthy. The other benefit is you get the game plan, and especially a team like A&M who's a quality opponent, you get the game plan, a quality opponent for 2 weeks. You see Bobby Stoops yelling. He's not a happy guy sometimes. He keeps coaching and coaching and coaching.
From the 45.
Michael Thompson, he felt let Bethel Johnson get underneath the coverage. Ferris going deep, showing the strength of his arm, but a little bit too much. And we have a penalty flag thrown at the 30-yard line. And that'll be pass interference against Oklahoma.
And it's going to be on Pee Wee Woods again because Woods reached out and grabbed as the receiver went past him.
And let's send it down to Eric Clemens for the National Car Rental Game Summary. Eric?
All right, Ron, well, here it is. Josh Heupel, 31 of 50, 372 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. The total yards, you see Oklahoma over 500 yards again. And we are geniuses. Eric Bernard, we said would be a factor. You see, hasn't been much fun. So, you know, maybe they didn't hear me earlier. I don't know.
You know what, though, Eric? He had to be a factor for A&M to be in this game. So I think you were right in choosing that. It's just that he wasn't successful, or they weren't successful in terms of getting him involved in the game. Because with him represented the running game.
We'll give you a mulligan, eh?
We'll give you a big mulligan, big guy.
Ferris throws it out. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Toombs. Josh Heupel taking a well-deserved rest. He's run for touchdowns. He's thrown for touchdowns this evening.
And he's made wonderful decisions, as we've talked about all night, at the line of scrimmage. And it's a new school record versus Texas A&M, throwing for 372 yards.
You know what's remarkable, too? He may be in a quarterback controversy next year with Nate Hibble, a transfer from the University of Georgia, who the coaches say this guy's got a great arm, but Heupel and Hibble, which will be really fun to say next year, they like it. They think they're going to push each other.
Yeah, they will, but trust me, see number 14 there, Ron? He'll be the starting quarterback. He's got a great grasp of this offense.
Second and 10 from the 40. Ferris throwing it up for grabs, and it is going to be incomplete, almost intercepted by Michael Thompson. Thompson, who just got done getting chewed out by Bob Stoops, comes up and makes a pretty good play. William Barty also was in on that.
You're going to see Thompson go up in the air. He's 6'1". He almost catches the ball. But you know, Chris Taylor does a great job of becoming the defender there and stripping the ball. And that's good coaching on the offensive side of Texas A&M of preventing an interception.
Third down and 10 now for the Aggies. Bethel Johnson wide to the right. OU again, only a 3-man rush. Linebackers are moving up. But they rush 3. Ferris, plenty of time. Pass incomplete again, almost intercepted, and we have a penalty flag thrown intended for Dwayne Goins, a redshirt freshman out of Lamarck, Texas, and it'll be a holding call against Texas A&M. Rodney Rideau is in on things.
You know what, I'll bet you Oklahoma declines this year and makes A&M punt or try for it on 4th down. It'll be 4th and 10 if they do.
And R.C. Slocum is going to kick it away. Shane Leckler coming back out. Leckler, who almost went to the NFL after last year, had to do a little soul searching, decided to come back because his younger brother is part of the A&M program and wanted to spend some time with him. The average is low tonight, 41.7. For the year, his average is 47.6, so he's almost 7 yards less than what he usually does. Leckler with a little pooch kick, but he got too much of it. And that'll drop into the end zone, and Oklahoma will take over with 10:42 to play in this football game. And A&M about to drop one to the Sooners. Josh Heupel remains in the football game with the Sooners leading 51-6, 10:22 left to play in the football game. His father, a coach at Northern State, a Division II school in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Used to go to his dad's practices as a youngster, said he's been part of football his whole life. Dad doesn't really critique him, just watches the football games. He's watching tonight. Skinner keeping on his feet again, and Skinner's having a big night for the Sooners. Only had 8 rushes coming into tonight. He has 12 tonight. And Heupel's coming out to a crowd. These are the records that Josh Heupel holds for the Sooners as he comes out of the football game, and they let him come out to a round of applause, and he'll be replaced by Patrick Fletcher. That's a perfect night for this young man. Boy, he's impressive in person, isn't he, Arnie?
Yeah, he's very mature, and you know, we asked him if he wants to coach someday, and he said no. He'd be a great coach.
Well, they needed Heupel's size. Fletcher, only 5'10", is going to have to fall out and at the 3.
You know, it's rhythm. This shotgun formation is a rhythm, and obviously Fletcher has not been in the game.
Well, also Bubba Burcham, the backup center out of Mustang, Oklahoma, was in, and you can see Heupel's numbers tonight. 373 yards, threw for 3 touchdowns. He rushed for 3 touchdowns. Didn't break any of his records that he's already set, in which he owns here. And saw Cale Gutney last night. I said, what do you think about all your records broken? He goes, oh, those are fake records. They deserve to be broken. Keep it on the ground. Skinner blasts his way up to the 17-yard line. Along with Artie Gigantino, Eric Clemens, I'm Ron Thulin as Patrick Fletcher comes off the field. OU forced to punt. Skinner tonight, nice job rushing the football. 12 rushes, just a shade under 100 yards, and OU's going to kick it away. And it'll be only their third punt of the evening.
And Jason Lester.
Ferguson standing back at his 2-yard line. A&M came after it. Nothing doing. Good coverage by the men in crimson. 42 yards on the kick. Zippo on the return, and we'll step aside. 8:13 left to play at homecoming in Norman. The fans love it.
There are obstacles.
Even the little Sooner fans are enjoying this evening. 51-6, Oklahoma leading Texas A&M with 8:13 to play in the ball game. In case you just joined us, OU led 34-6 at the end of one as Bob Stoops pulled every trick out of the bag in that first quarter and in the first half.
But you know what those tricks did? They established momentum. They got A&M on their heels, and they've never come off their heels tonight.
A&M played 3 quarterbacks, haven't had the football a whole lot tonight. In fact, time of possession, they've only had the football 18 minutes, and OU's had it 33 minutes. Now, coming up next on College Football Saturday, it's Pac-10 football. Steve Fizziak, Tom Ramsey, and James Lofton set to call the game between Oregon and Arizona. That'll come up immediately following this game right here on Fox Sports Net.
Big game for both teams in the Pac-10. You talk about a wild conference right now.
Oh, boy.
You know, who's going to win that one will be determined at the end of the year also, just like the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, that game on the 27th of November with OU and OSU right here could have a lot of bowl implications. Ferris being rushed, throws it out on the flat. Pass is complete to Leroy Hodge. Of course, on the 27th, we'll finally be able to get Kellen and Kevin out of the studio and make their way to Norman, Oklahoma.
I hope it's about 25 degrees
for
really. Them on the field. And, you know, let them suffer through some of the elements like we have to on the road. They're in those cushy studios all the time, eating, you know, being served food. And we're out in the elements. Boy,
that Fox catering, you know, popcorn and a soda, man. I mean, that's nothing but the best. 3rd down and 1 yard for Texas A&M. Straight ahead. They have the first down and then some. Jamar Toombs on the rush. Now the executive producers of Fox Sports Net are Arthur Smith and Bill Borson. Coordinating producer of College Football Saturday is Roy Hamilton. Today's game was produced by Mike Helling, directed by Ken Fouts. College Football Saturday studio show was produced by Lloyd Maxson and directed by Joe Whitus. Vice President of Field Operations is Andrea Jenkins. And you can see A&M tonight, 229, they average 440. Credit has to go to that OU defense.
And the OU defense has come alive tonight. As we had talked about, Bob and Mike Stoops were not very happy with their performance the last 2 weeks, but in the last 2 games. But they've come alive tonight. They've run around and they've played with a reckless abandon as you see him make another tackle for a loss.
Boy, Torrance Marshall has done a great job on defense. That time he stopped Tiki Hardiman, but watch this hit.
He gets up in the backfield, he reads it perfectly, boom, but nobody blocks him. He was a walk-up linebacker late, and there was some confusion in the blocking scheme by the A&M offensive line. And we talked about Marshall before. He's a physical specimen that's going to have a great, great future here at Oklahoma.
Well, they liked him so much, they moved Rocky Kalmus from the middle linebacker spot over to the outside.
Get your best guys on the field, and he was one of the 3 best linebackers, so line him up somewhere.
2nd and 13. The left side, Joe Weber getting some playing time, staying on his feet. Well, Eric, I know that there are 77,000 that are staying in their seats tonight that are pretty happy about this outcome.
That's Ron. I tell you what. pretty happy about them being up by 51-6 right now, late in the fourth quarter. I can't hear myself talk, guys. Back to you.
All right, Eric.
Well, the spirit is back at Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Norman, Oklahoma. You could just feel it when we got in here Thursday, the enthusiasm that is built behind Bob Stoops and this football program again.
Marshall, 9 tackles on the evening. Sooners coming again. Ferris running for his life, throws it away, and it'll be incomplete. You know, even though coaches are winning a game big, you never can tell by the look on their expression. This is old Mike Stoops, the pride of Youngstown, Ohio. He's rocking back and forth, drinking that water, and you couldn't tell if he's winning or losing a football game.
Well, you know, every yard counts because you never know at the end of the year, you might lose the rushing title or the total defensive title by a yard you gave up in the fourth down when you were ahead 51-6. That's why coaches are never happy. They're worried about every yard. But that's the way it should be. It's part of the profession.
Shane Leckler's 7th punt of the evening. I say Oklahoma's punt. Anyway, the ball is down at the 2-yard line. And the upcoming OU schedule looks like this. Next week they travel to Colorado.
And then Missouri, Iowa State, Texas Tech, and Oklahoma State, which we will be at. They have a chance to look pretty good for the remainder of the year in terms of strength of opponents.
And you know what I like what the Big 12 is doing? Next year, Oklahoma will again play Nebraska.
Yeah,
that is a must.
That's a must. And, Bobby Stoops was talking about that the other day. It's just part of Oklahoma history to play Nebraska.
We're also moving the Oklahoma State game to the end of the season, too. That's good for the state. OU's going to keep it on the ground as the clock says 5:36.
What were you talking about the other day that it's not a rivalry between
It's a hate.
It's a hatred. It's a hatred.
And Chad Franson.
Well, Bob Stoops knows that he does not want a safety now.
This is a good example of Oklahoma's offense with Skinner carrying the ball, working to avoid the safety. And the one thing I'm coming out of this game with tonight is how impressed I am with how hard the running backs from Oklahoma run.
That has been impressive. Much maligned here. Running game has produced enough tonight. Again on the right side.
You know, people have got to remember here at Oklahoma that's a pass offense first and a run offense second.
Well, Sunday at 9 o'clock is Going Deep with host Chris Myers. Chris will go one-on-one with San Diego Charger linebacker Junior Seau, look at the new breed of slugging shortstops in Major League Baseball, and look into the mysterious world of boxing's cornermen. That's Going Deep with Chris Myers, Sunday at 9 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings. It has been over 4 years since A&M was held to 6 points. 1995, the Longhorns of Texas. Fletcher throws it out in the flat. Pass is complete. Crossing the 10 up to the 15-yard line, and that'll be a first down Oklahoma. Mickey Jones with his 3rd reception of the year, the sophomore out of Tyler, Texas.
Jones, the cutback run against the grain on an outside screen.
You know, we talked about the return of bringing back the tradition of Oklahoma. That's something Mac Brown also did at Texas. I remember last year him telling us that, you know, he wanted the Freddie Akers and the David McWilliams and Darrell Royals and the former players like Doug English and the great Earl Campbell to come back. Stoops has done the same thing here at Oklahoma. OU keeping it on the ground with Johnny Bayless. Crosses the 30 up to the 32-yard line.
Ron, I'll tell you, the next opponent that plays the University of Oklahoma will slant in running situations to the right side of the Oklahoma offensive line, because all night long, Oklahoma has been running behind the right side of their offensive line. And we talked about why, because of Stocker McDougal there, but man, the whole night, the running game has been to the right side of the Oklahoma offense. And there it is again.
It has been successful. Bayless, the senior out of Corsicana, Texas, only 3 rushes coming into tonight. Rush for 30 yards. Coming up next, of course, Pac-10 football, the Ducks and the Wildcats. And you can see the leaders as far as passing, and rushing, and receiving tonight. Skinner with 104 yards rushing the football. Coming into the game, he only had 21 yards running. 5 times as many yards tonight as he had the previous games.
Well, part of it's been opportunity.
Absolutely.
You know, coming into the game, as we talked about, they had only run the ball 112 times in 5 games.
Pass is complete to the right side of Reggie Skinner. Skinner, a nice job tonight. Thornton, a nice job tonight. They've really mixed things up.
And, you know, I was just going to say that. One of the good things about this offense, you got about 22 guys that are happy. You know, the 5 offensive linemen, the quarterback, and everybody else is a receiver or back that shuffles in and out of the game. So you got a lot of smiling faces on this offensive group. But that's the guy that ought to be the happiest, Josh Heupel, who's the quarterback that engineered this great victory tonight.
So close versus Texas and Notre Dame, only to come up empty. Pass is complete out in the flat, surrounded by A&M. Fumble, ball is down. Let's see what the referees say.
I believe they've ruled it down.
I think they ruled it down
on
too.
The 34-yard line.
John Connor, wide receiver, freshman redshirt out of Columbus, Texas, as Bob Stoops giving some of his younger players a chance to see some action tonight.
You know, as you talked about before, this has got to be a shock for R.C. Slocum because the last 2 years, Ron, A&M has beaten Oklahoma 80-7 in combined scores. And I know R.C. Slocum did not expect this to happen tonight. He knew it was going to be a close game. He told us that last night because Oklahoma is so improved, but boy, not by this margin.
I don't think anybody would have expected this. Oh, you kicking it away, and they've done a nice job on special teams, even kicking the football. And covering punts. 44 yards on the kick, 6 on the return, inside of a minute. And OU looking to up their record of 4-2. Look at all the football news, highlights, and analysis you can handle as we bring you in-depth college and even high school pigskin coverage. Join us for football news, weeknights at 6 p.m. on Fox Sports Net. Check your local listings. We are the network for football, be it professional, college, and even high school. Bob, you can go ahead and smile now. Out of Youngstown, Ohio. Former defensive back at Iowa. Brother also played at Iowa.
But he came in with the attitude of let's win now. Let's forget about all this rebuilding stuff, and that's exactly what he's doing because he knew he had some talent here. He's done an excellent job of mixing the talent with the scheme that's a little bit different, and as a result, he's won 4 games in the first 6. It could be 6-0.
Absolutely.
Could have beaten Texas and certainly could have beaten Notre Dame.
Well, the Texas game, they had 2 interceptions by the Woods guys that went right through their hands that could have been a big turnaround. But R.C. Slocum has to be disappointed, and he said last night, we have not put it together yet this year.
But R.C.'s a great coach, and he will get this A&M team back on course because the one thing that he has done at A&M is they compete, they play well, they play good each and every year.
Well, I think they just got Coach Stoops with a little bit of Gatorade. This is a huge win for the University of Oklahoma. They have finally beaten Texas A&M, and they've done it convincingly. 51-6 already. I don't think anybody could have predicted this.
No, but again, I think at the beginning of the game, this man who just gets doused with Gatorade called the right plays in terms of the fake kicks and the fake punt. And what it did, Ron, it just served as a springboard from a momentum and confidence standpoint for Oklahoma. And I don't think A&M ever recovered from that.
Well, A&M only had the ball 21 minutes in the ball game.